SmackDown. We can absolutely look at that now. I don't quite have things set up yet, but I can hopefully have them set up as long as WWE have got the preview set up. They don't always have it set. Oh, they do have it today. I was going to say they don't always have it ready to go, but they do have it ready to go today, so that is good news. So yes, we do have the preview, and let's go over to that. Looks like it's struggling a little bit at the moment to actually connect. Hopefully this is all coming across. Hello, Alan. Hope you're doing well, my friends. Yeah, there we go. Looks like that's been struggling a little bit to like connect, but it looks like it's connected now. Yeah, a little bit of drama, kind of changing over streams. We just did a member stream, so but should be good now. Right, if we go over here, we'll have a look at the official preview and see what it is that we're actually dealing with tonight on NXT. So we've got Hank and Tank defending the NXT Tag Team Championships against the Culling. We've also got Ava. She's going to be announcing the Evolution Battle Royal participants. So we should be finding out who's going to be representing NXT in that. Ricky Saints takes on, oh yeah, that Gauntlet match. So Ricky Saints is taking on the Vanity Project in a Gauntlet match. We've also got TNA stars Hendry and Santana. They're going to be teaming up to take on Ryze. Bit of a random match, but whatever. And we have also got Tavion Heights taking on Charlie Dempsey in a high-stakes match. And that is a high-stakes match because if Tavion can win, he is out of No Quarter Catch Crew. And honestly, it's a bit of a shame, really, because No Quarter Catch Crew, I know they're not the most exciting group in the world, but I don't know what, you know, is going to be next for Ren, what is going to be next for Charlie. If No Quarter Catch Crew fall apart completely, like, does Ren just walk away and leave? Where does that leave Charlie? You know, we all saw what happened when this means for Ren Sinclair. I would imagine Tavion will likely win and likely leave. And that would be pretty much it for No Quarter Catch Crew. No Quarter Catch Crew would just be two people going forward. So there we go. That is the breakdown. So quite a bit going on. This is Go Home Show. Obviously, this weekend we have got Saturday night's main event, but we've also got Great American Bash. That is the NXT show. NXT will be represented on Evolution as well on the Sunday as well. So obviously NXT well represented this weekend. But yeah, lots to talk about, lots to get our teeth into. Matteo, shout out to you, my friend. Matteo said Daze Raw was really fun yesterday, which was weird for me. And my friend, everything was funny. Other than that, I've given it an 8, and I'm excited for NXT. And it's good to see Unseen is finally back. Yeah, it was good to bring it back. To be honest, it was one of those where there was enough for an episode, and you know, I would have liked a bit more in the fun folder. That's why I said at the end of the video, you know, don't worry about sending me news and stuff like that, because I've got that covered. I mean, all the kind of big news outlets, I've got them in a list. So that stuff, like, I sort of feel like when it comes to Unseen, that stuff's important. But I want to try and get through that stuff as quick as possible, really. Because I sort of feel like you've probably, by the time Unseen drops, you've probably heard a lot of that news. I don't really think of Unseen so much as like a news video. I see it as, well, a bit of everything, really. It's like a magazine, you know, it's got a bit of news. It's got a bit of fun stuff in it. It's got a bit of like a Your Letters page, which is the community folder. It's got some quirky bits in there, which is like, hey, did you know this had happened? It's not like news, but it's like, oh, we found this out today. And I tend to put that sort of stuff into the other folder. And then sometimes you might get some merch or you might get some other bits. So I really look at Unseen as a bit of like a magazine type video that's got a little bit of everything in there. But when it comes to the news stuff, I like to just get that done, really. Not really worry too much about that, because I think there's like other channels, other places where you're probably getting your news. So yeah, it's the fun stuff really that I need to make sure that is, you know, being filled out. So always, if you see any fun like memes or clips, the only problem is you have to be so careful with copyright. Copyright is a real issue. Certainly if it's anything from the actual shows, that's a real problem. If it's anything off like social media, if it's like someone's doing a TikTok or something, you can sort of get away with that a bit more, but even then it depends how long it goes for. So, and obviously any kind of music is just copyrighted straight away. So lots of pitfalls, lots of barriers, lots of things that can, you know, end up not being included for those reasons. But yeah, good to be back. But definitely need to flesh out the fun folder. Hannah said, I'm glad I got the new John Cena 25 in my faction before they stopped with that pack. Nightmare said, Undertaker's wife has found her way onto the Evolution cards. Has she? Where is that then? I have not seen any news on that. Is that like breaking news, is it? I know that as of yesterday, she was not. But, yeah, I've not seen anything earlier today that she's found her way onto it. Nick said, I'm baffled by the decisions that WWE are making at the moment. They've released a lot of workable talent like Cora and Gigi and Shotzi, but then they use Goldberg. Why? Well, Goldberg's having one last match, isn't he? I mean, I don't think that they are... I don't think that they are really looking to use him kind of long term or anything. I think the thing with Goldberg is that he's got that nostalgia. A lot of people that maybe don't watch wrestling might be interested in tuning in to watch his final match. You know, he's got name value. He's a you know, I'm going to use the word legend. And he's definitely someone that is going to grab attention. And so... yeah, he's not a long-term thing. He's just a way of boosting the show this weekend, isn't he? It's just a one-off hit, isn't it? It's just a one-off hit. It's just his final farewell. Hopefully he's going to bring in eyes on a day where they're competing against AEW All In. And that is a battle, isn't it? A fierce battle. Because I think that AEW card is pretty stacked. One Chill Bunny said, Daze, I hope you're keeping well. Hope you had a good night at the Oasis concert. One word, 4 letters. Daze, said One Chill Bunny. One Chill Bunny, shout out to you, but I loved the Oasis concert. It was so good. It's one of the best gigs I've ever been to. I mean, they have always been a favourite band of mine, but yeah, I saw them in 2000 and they were pretty rubbish. It was fine, it was good, but I mean, they played a load of songs which, you know, are hardly their best songs. When I saw them in 2000, they were promoting their 4th album, and they were just a bit off. You know, they weren't in a good mood. And seeing Oasis has always been a bit hit and miss, but saw them the other day, first show back after 16 years away. And, you know, I mean, obviously it was such a big moment. Like, it was huge. There was so many camera crews around. Like, outside the stadium, there was just things being filmed everywhere. People talking to cameras, you know, bloggers, content creators, but also like the BBC were there and all the major TV networks. People from around the world as well. I mean, it did have kind of international interest. And it felt like there was something big was happening, you know. Kind of had that vibe. And the next day on the newspapers here, it was front page news. It was the top story. It was the main image was Oasis on stage. So, I mean, it's not often that a gig is going to get onto the front pages of the national newspapers here in the UK. But, I mean, apparently 5% of the country had applied for tickets. 5% of the UK tried to get tickets to go to these Oasis gigs. And I didn't get any tickets. It was my brother who knew someone that had some tickets going spare. That's how he was able to get them. So, yeah, it was great. Really enjoyed it. If you are going to go at any point, you're going to have a great time. Ben said, after seeing that Wyatt 2K video, would you have reacted the same and made a video if they were going to do some LWO story with unleashed footage? Oh, no, definitely no. No, I mean, in that video, I said that for our community, I think this was the perfect storm, because I know many of you play the video game, but I mean, I know that we've got a large Wyatt's fan base, Wyatt appreciation fan base. I mean, some of the most successful videos on the channel have been White Rabbit, Nightbird, Wyatt Theory videos. You know, if you think of the conversations we've had and the endless conversations we've had about the Wyatt Six and about Bray and about his legacy and about his creative, and, you know, we were doing like Funhouse videos back in the day, back in 2019, and they were really well received. And I sort of feel like that has been a big part of the channel. You know, if I think back to toy hunt videos and streams and all that sort of stuff, like the Wyatt stuff has been a big part of, you know, this channel, right? So I knew that the game was of interest to people. But if it was not Wyatt related, then no, I probably would not have done a video on it. And I'm not embarrassed or ashamed to admit that. I mean, I even say that really in the video, because I know the audience. I know the community. I know that many of you are really interested in Bray. And so I thought genuinely, and I'm not just saying it, I genuinely thought that was big enough news to warrant its own video and not just wait for Unseen, because I think the idea that there is unreleased footage of Bray that has not been seen before, that is going to be used in such a powerful way, and I do think this is powerful because I'm not a gamer, but I can appreciate, having played games, the kind of journey that you go on when you play a game. You know, I've heard so many times people tell me about how amazing The Last of Us is, and, you know, like what an amazing story it is. And, you know, people talk about like the Legend of Zelda games going on these, you know, there's so much nostalgia for certain games because they are experiences, and like you kind of escape from the real world and you kind of step into this fantasy world and you go on this journey and you embark on this story. And I'm not a gamer, but I do get that. I mean, if I had more time, I would be a gamer. If there was 48 hours in a day rather than 24, and I could find time, a couple of hours to do, like, you know, play some games, I would do it. I mean, you know, I played Borderlands and I really enjoyed Borderlands. And I've played, what other games have I played? I mean, when I was young, I played very quick games that you could pick up and put down. To be honest, games weren't that big when I was young. Do you know what I mean? Like Sonic and stuff like that, Street Fighter. You could pick them up, NBA Jam. You know, you could pick them up, play a few games, put them back down again. It's not like now where it's like flipping 200 hours to complete a game. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I sort of feel that... I sort of feel like... that news that there's going to be a story and it's going to be very emotional and it's going to feature footage that has not been released before. I mean, I suppose the test that I always run is it something that really interests me? Is it something that when I read it, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool news. That's pretty interesting. If I have that reaction, I always feel like others will have that reaction. And that's my test, really. That's my test. My test is kind of like, how big of a reaction did I react to it? And with that, genuinely, even though I'm not a gamer, I was like, man, do I need to get the game? Because I would really like to experience that. I'd like to play that story, and I'd like to see that footage. And I hope that it's something meaningful and not just like rubbish little cutscenes that are just nonsense, you know, like a few seconds here or there. That'd be very disappointing. I'm really hoping that it's something more substantial than that, and that they've been able to weave like a really interesting story out of it. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it made me think, like, do I need to get the game and actually like play this thing? But I don't have a PS5, and to be honest, I don't really understand how it all works. Like, I know it's on the island, but the island is only available for certain players, and I don't know. I mean, I've got a PS4. I don't know if it would work on a PS4. It might be one of those where you need to have a PS5, like the latest consoles, in order to do it. But yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't do it if it was LWO, but it was really the Bray stuff that made me do the video. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. Out of NXT, said Matteo, who do we think will be in the Battle Royal? Have we noticed on the Evolution poster that they put Kiana James, but not Blake Monroe and Stephanie? Do you think that Kiana is going to return, said Matteo? I never really think about posters too much, to be honest with you, because I don't think they say to the marketing department, I don't think they give them much in the way of information. If you think about how big WWE is, it's a big machine. You know, you've got finance, you've got HR, you've got marketing, you've got, you know, people arranging travel and finance and blah, 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 all these different departments, right? And I think that when it comes to kind of information to do with creative, I think really you want that to be on a need-to-know basis. I think you want to try and keep that, you know, as small as possible. So, you know, they might say to the marketing department a few names, put this person on, that person on, but I really don't think they give them like the full plans and like the full card well in advance and all that sort of stuff, because I don't think they're going to want that information to leak out. So I think that when it comes to things like that, I really, really always take that with a pinch of salt. I think, to be honest, it would not shock me if they just got a lot of the women that are on the current roster, on the main roster, and they just use those on the poster. So Kiana James is still part of WWE, and so they may have just grabbed her image and used her on the poster. It'll be very interesting to see if she comes back on the show, because, you know, if she does, then maybe there was something to her being on the poster. But if not, then I think what they've done is they've just grabbed a load of images of women that are on the active roster, that are showing on the website as being current superstars that are on the roster, and it really could be that. So I wouldn't really read too much into posters. I think they're interesting, and there's always thoughts and theories around them, but it's always very hit and miss when it comes to like them actually telling us anything. So but yeah, I mean, look, it's a talking point and it's something worth being aware of. I certainly wouldn't worry about Stephanie not being on there. We know Stephanie's in the Battle Royal. She announced on Monday she's in the Battle Royal. So again, posters taken with a bit of a pinch of salt. James said the island is only available PS5 and Xbox Series X. Damn. So that's a shame. So that seems that, you know, for me, then I wouldn't be able to play it unless I got a PS5, and I ain't doing that. I ain't buying a PS5 just to play this one story. So, yeah, not one that I'll experience then. So that's a real shame. But I'm sure someone will play it, of course, and like there'll be footage that emerges of it. I really hope it is something substantial. I think it would be such a shame for it to just be a load of marketing nonsense and it turns out to just be a couple of little clips behind the scenes, you know, just a couple of little, like, whatever. Just, I hope it's something that's got a bit more weight to it. That's kind of how it read. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Wayne said, Daze, will Cena lose at SummerSlam? I don't think so. I've got Cena retaining personally. I think that Cena has been banging on about ruining wrestling. I think he's been banging on about like going and walking away with the belt and being the last real champion. And I do think SummerSlam is the first time that I've thought to myself, this might be where he could lose, because it's a massive show, 2 days. I think that he won it at WrestleMania. So I feel like this is, you know, the next biggest thing compared to WrestleMania. So he could lose it here. But equally, he has been going on about ruining wrestling, taking the belt, last real champion. I don't know that you just abandon all of that now. I don't know that that now just gets all thrown away because he loses the belt back to Cody. But John could move to a different story, of course. But, you know, he could turn face. And some people are wondering, are we going to get the double turn and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's one of those where, like most things in wrestling, there's lots of directions that you can go. It's just, what direction do you want to go? What's the most likely direction they're going to go? And for me, sitting here right now, I would say it feels to me like it's more likely that we're going to keep the belt on Cena, and we're going to keep going towards him trying to ruin wrestling. I think that's probably more likely than putting the belt back onto Cody. The only thing I'll say is that it also feels to me that you're going to have to do something that's going to be a shock. You can't have Travis Scott coming back down again, right? You might do that, but I'm sure there would be something better to it. You know, if you're going to have Travis Scott come down, then hopefully moments later you would have The Rock come down, and we would get what we should have got at WrestleMania. So I sort of feel like they know that WrestleMania was seen as being underwhelming, was seen as being frustrating, was seen as being, you know, below what people were hoping for. And so I think they will try and correct that for SummerSlam, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Cody gets his belt back. So I think at the moment I'm looking at it thinking there's probably still a good chance that they keep going with Cena. But there is absolutely an option there where you pull the trigger and you put it back on Cody. That is not impossible. I like to work with the whole unlikely likely thing, because, you know, a lot of these things are just, you know, they can sit and write whatever they want to write. They can do whatever they want to do. You know, they could have Cena win, they could have Cody win, they could have Seth cash in. Like, they could do anything. But what's the most likely thing they're going to do? And for me, I think the most likely is that Cena leaves with that championship. I do think that Seth could cash in at some point soon, but if he did, I don't think it would be the WWE Championship. I think it would be the World Heavyweight Championship. And I don't think he's going to do that really anytime soon. I don't think he's going to do that at Saturday night's main event. He might try, but I think Roman's going to come back and stop him, right? I'm feeling pretty good for Roman this weekend, to be honest. I haven't read anything about it, but I just think that Roman having a match at SummerSlam makes sense. We don't have any other big shows before SummerSlam, so if we're going to bring Roman back, it feels like that would have to be this weekend. And, you know, what way to stop Seth? You know, like, let's say Gunther retains and he's beaten up and Seth starts making his way down. How are you going to stop Seth from cashing in? Well, how about if Roman is there? What about if Roman's the one that stops him? That then would set up like Seth Roman at SummerSlam. And, you know, then you might have Seth trying to cash in. But I think if he did, I think he would go after that World Heavyweight Championship again. So, yeah, lots to kind of talk about and unpack there. There's obviously, once we get past this weekend, then it's pretty much full steam ahead, isn't it, to SummerSlam? I'm not aware of any shows between now and then. SummerSlam is early August. These shows are the July shows. So, yeah, straight the way through. James said people are getting angry over a wrestling poster. I don't know what poster people are angry about. Is that the Evolution poster, is it? Robbie said, with Cody filming Street Fighter in August in Australia, I'm more convinced now that it could be Cena or Seth that leaves with that WWE title, says Robbie. Yeah, it's a good point, Robbie. I think him filming and having to step away for a bit adds a little more fuel to that. I think in this day and age, though, you know, we just saw Liv go off and she was gone for like 3 weeks or whatever. I mean, it wasn't a big disruption. This might be a bigger part than the part Liv had, though. So this could be a bigger disruption. But yeah, I think you're probably right. It just adds a bit more fuel to the argument that Cody likely won't be able to get the job done at SummerSlam. Matteo said, now here's the real question. Who is ruining wrestling more, John Cena or TKO? It's a good question, that. Who is ruining wrestling more, John Cena or TKO? Well, I don't know that the blame really goes on any one person for 2025. I mean, I think you could point the finger at Triple H and say that we're not getting enough big talking points. We're not getting enough stuff that makes it feel like we have to watch each show. For me, that's kind of how you judge Raw, how you judge SmackDown, is on talking points. I would actually rather watch a show that's really bad and he's like, what the hell are they doing? They're doing what? He's just done what? Like, I would rather watch a show like that than just a show that's mid. I think a show that's mid and not much happens and it's safe and it's just comfortable and it just plods along, I think that's worse. Because if you've got a show where things are just bad and there's like big reactions to it and everyone's got opinions on it and there's all these big talking points, yeah, okay, the score's not going to be good. Of course, we're going to score it accordingly, but I'd much rather watch that show. I'd much rather watch that show where there's big opinions, big talking points, even if they're negative. I'd rather watch that show than just a show where there's no talking points and the show just comfortably and safely just plods along. There's no rocking of the boat. And to be honest, we're probably a bit more towards that at the moment than we are things being amazing, mind-blowing, or things being disastrous, all falling apart. So I do think you could point the finger at Triple H and say you're being too safe, you're being too cautious, you're being too steady. Like, do you know what I mean? Take some risks. Like, you know, shake it up a little bit. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just all a bit safe and kind of just plodding along, really. I've said, like, past few weeks, and actually maybe for the majority of 2025, I think a lot of the Raws and a lot of the SmackDowns, you could have read the results, watched a couple of highlights, maybe not even needed to have done that, and you will have seen everything you probably wanted to see. Match quality is not that high when it comes to the scores that the community scores the matches. Actually, in regards to the shows, they're fine, they're okay, they're acceptable, but they're not exceptional. And there's not really anything there that's like, oh my God, did you see this moment? Did you see that moment? And then that happened, and oh, that backstage thing was good, and didn't see that swerve come in, and blah, 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 right? And we had a big conversation yesterday about, well, how often can they do that? Like, there has to be a balance. You can't do those kind of things week after week after week. And I do agree, but I think that where we are at the moment is we're not getting enough of those. We're not getting anywhere near enough of those. And part of it could be that they're having to save good matches and talking points for these kind of extra shows that we're doing. Because obviously we're doing like Saturday night's main event. You know, we're doing 4 of those in the year. And it, like, you know, you kind of come out from one pay-per-view, a couple of weeks later, you're into another show. You know, it's like every 2 weeks there seems to be something going on a Saturday in WWE. And that increase in kind of special shows, if you will, I think has taken away from Raw and SmackDown, because I think some of the talking points that have gone down on those shows would have took place on Raw and SmackDown. So I think Creative and Triple H, you can point a finger there. I think with John Cena, I mean, I feel a bit sorry for John. I think that the heel turn has divided opinion. I'm not crazy about it. I think the actual shock at the start was good for the shock, good for the moment, but it was kind of immediately followed with like, how's this going to go? And then they didn't really invest in it, because you didn't get new music, you didn't get any new gear. He just kind of berated the crowds. And that was it, really. I mean, it felt a bit shallow. It didn't feel like this well thought through story. And to back that up, you know, the whole surrounding narrative was that he'd sold his soul to The Rock, and there was no follow up on that. So, you know, the whole kind of him betraying Cody, looking at The Rock giving the order, there was no follow up on that. I mean, that was just like, that just happened in the moment, but they must have had conversations behind the scenes, and we just haven't dug into that any further because The Rock's not been available. So that's all frustrating. Add in the fact we haven't had new music. We haven't. The only stuff he's really been talking about is that, you know, the fans drove him to this, which doesn't make any sense, because the fans were more united behind John than ever before. John was on his final lap. John had done his career. It was just now about him trying to get number 17. And honestly, if the story hadn't have included The Rock, and if the story had been more about John thinking that there was no way he could get 17 without turning heel, right? And so that's what had done it. He'd blinded himself so much in getting that record, in getting 17, that's why he turned heel. I think there would be more of a story to it then. It would be a bit more kind of understandable. Whereas, you know, Cena had enough of the fans, which doesn't really make sense because they were more united behind him than ever. Plus, his career was done this year. So, you know, I think from a storyline point of view, it feels a bit paper thin. From a launching it point of view, frustrating that The Rock was not involved. From a kind of presentation point of view, frustrating that they didn't change the music, they didn't change his ring gear. We all wanted to see what a heel Cena looked like, and it's largely just the same. Add in the fact that you've left it so late that he can't really wrestle bangers now. So, you know, the match quality is not amazing, you know, and I think that you've got a bit of an underwhelming story, a bit of an underwhelming turn, to be honest. There's some fans that are just blind to all of that. They don't see that. It's not a problem for them because they're just so invested in John. They're so invested in, like, John turning heel that they're not bothered about all those things I just mentioned. And that's fine. That's great. You know, everyone enjoy what you enjoy. But for me personally, those things have been problems. They've been barriers. And, you know, it's kind of resulted in this being so-so. I think, you know, you've just replaced the Bloodline story, which was the top story, with Cody winning the title, going after, like, Solo and a few other bits and bobs. And even that was a bit mid, but we were waiting for this year because it was going to be Cena's final year. And then honestly, this year I think has been a bit mid as well in regards to this Cena run. So I don't really blame Cena for trying this. I don't really blame Triple H for trying this. I think they sat down and they were basically like, look, it's now or never. We either do this or we don't ever do it. And I can understand them sitting down going, no, let's do it. Let's give it a go. I get that. I do understand that. And I can see in a boardroom that making sense. But in reality, I think it's not unfair to say it's been a very mixed bag. I don't think it's unfair to say that it's not killed it. You know, you don't really see people going, oh my God, I am loving this John Cena heel turn. I just don't really see that. I see people actually being quite down on it. And then I think people were into the sort of tribute to the pipe bomb, the punkonomics, you know, those couple of little bits I think improved people's opinions of this heel run. But even right now, people are very mixed on it. Very, very mixed on it. I don't think I would blame Cena. It's not really his fault that this has got mixed reactions. But yeah, I wish that story was banging. I wish that story was like so good, made more sense, was more well thought out and structured, that then, you know, that would be carrying a lot more weight, wouldn't it? But actually, I don't think it's carrying a great deal of weight at the moment. And so that means other things are having to carry some of the weight, and they're just struggling. You know, if you take the top story out, the Cena story, what's your other engrossing stories? You've got the Seth group that feel a bit undercooked. You know, there's a lot of work that needs to be done with that group. So, you know, can that carry much weight at the moment? And then, I don't know, what else? The tag division? You know, the Wyatts going into that tag division, that's been a bit of a mixed bag. You're sort of looking around for something that's really good that can carry some weight. You're sort of struggling to find it. I'm struggling to find it. I'm struggling to find that big, juicy story that I'm really enjoying, you know? There's lots of little bits that are happening, like Karrion and Sammy, the tag division, you know, the kind of the women's stuff that we're doing at the moment. But even the women's stuff, I mean, I suppose Becky, Bayley, Lyra has been pretty fun. That's been okay. Like, a lot of people saying they'd like to see that main event Evolution. That's been okay. I don't think it's been anything mind-blowing. But, yeah, Goldberg, Gunther. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know really what's carrying the weight this year. I think, but I can't really blame, like, Cena. They tried it and it didn't quite land. TKO, obviously, you know, pushing up ticket prices, sponsorships, all that sort of stuff has really soured people. I think people, you know, that's just been the cherry on top this year, hasn't it? So not only have we lost the Bloodline story and not been able to replace it with something really juicy, we've replaced it with a John Cena heel run that has been a mixed bag, mixed reaction. And then, you know, add in the fact that ticket prices keep going up. Add in the fact that, you know, if there's any space to chuck a sponsor in there, we're going to do it. You know, add in the fact that, like, you know, the celebrity stuff, Travis Scott trying to save the day, you know, trying to make his way down to the ring was like, people were not really keen on that. You know, Pat being the first match for Gunther after WrestleMania, I think people were like, what does this do for Gunther? I mean, it did nothing. I don't even think he beat Pat up enough where he like, for me, he should have brutalized him. He should have absolutely had him a bloody mess. But actually, they gave Pat a little bit too much kind of offense in, I thought. And I thought Michael Cole came across as really annoying as well during that, like, thing. And so, like, you know, when it comes to celebrities getting involved, I really feel like this year was the year that a lot of people were like, nah, I've had enough of this now. I really feel like this year was the year where I saw a lot more people sort of pushing back on celebrities getting involved. I think the Travis Scott moment really annoyed people. I think Travis coming down at WrestleMania, I think that really annoyed people. And I think, like, that was people kind of going, yeah, no, this has gone too far now. So, you know, I think that there's obviously other celebrities that want to get involved. We know Cardi B's going to host SummerSlam. I'll be shocked if she doesn't do something physical at some point. Slap some wrestler, you know. So, you know, that's not going to go away. Celebrities getting physical, getting involved, it's never going to go away. And sponsorships are never going away. Ticket prices are never going to come back down. So, yeah, I think they're the cherry on top, honestly. So, a lot to kind of digest and unpack there, to be honest with you, in regards to the state of WWE in 2025. But in amongst that, there is good stuff as well. I think NXT has had a really good year. I think NXT's had a good year. And listen, there's parts of the John story that's been fun. I enjoyed Punkonomics, right? That was fun. I enjoyed that. I thought the pipe bomb was okay. like, it was a fun little tribute. So, you know, I wasn't down on that. And there's been moments in that. But yeah, I think, to be honest, part of the problem is that we just had a really good 2023, 2024, certainly the first part of 2024. If you think about all the things that are happening with The Rock and Cody and, you know, like the press conference with the bloodline graphic in the background and you're whipping in the rain. That's one of the best recent segments I've ever seen, or, like, you know, I've seen recently, with the rain coming down and The Rock whipping Cody in the rain by his bus. So good. And on that same episode, we had the Seth, Drew, Punk promo battle, which, you know, the whole I've never needed another man's name to sell a shirt stuff. So good. And, you know, before that, you got the Bloodline stuff, Usi and Honorary Use and all the Sammy stuff with all of that and the turn. And it's been a really, you could probably include 2022, 2023, 2024. I do think 2025 is a dip, but I'm very interested to see what 2026 is going to look like because, well, we ain't going to have Cena next year and we ain't going to have Bloodline. So what is their big plan for next year? Have they got some stories in mind for next year? What are they going to do next year? This year, I think they thought they could lean on the Cena story and that would do the lifting. But they don't have that next year. So what's their big plan for 2026? And that's an interesting one to think about, honestly. What's the big plan for 2026? Big Time said Raw dropped again last week to 2.5. It's a new low for the show. So far on Netflix, we've gone from 2.6. Same week last year on USA was 1.8, but that was only in America. Triple H needs to have a fire lit under him, said Big Time. Well, 2.5 globally. And as you said, last year it was 1.88 just in America. I don't know what that would mean. The American number is, obviously we're dealing with different networks. One was USA Network. The other one is obviously on Netflix. We didn't know what Netflix was going to do. I know a lot of people get excited about the opportunity of being on Netflix, but that does not necessarily translate to numbers. But, you know, whilst we're sitting here saying, yeah, this year has been a dip down, I think that has to play a part. I really think this is not rocket science. I think in this day and age where there is so much choice and there are so many programs that you can watch or games that you can play or sports you can watch or sports you can play or flipping TikToks you can watch or social media, or there is so much that you can do with your time. Your time is very precious, right? And everyone's like trying to get your attention as well, right? The whole world is trying to get your attention. Like, everyone wants you to watch their videos, watch their TikToks, leave likes and all this kind of stuff, right? So your decisions that you make and the choices that you make and the things that you choose to watch, you know, it's everyone's battling for that attention. So big thank you that you're here, by the way. But in regards to that's why certainly in this day and age where there is so much choice, I don't think you can afford to make your show so comfortable and safe and steady and unspectacular. And, you know, I don't like kind of being overly critical. I don't like banging the same point again and again and again. But I do think that is WWE in 2025. I do think in 2025, Triple H is someone that is, you know, keeping it steady, keeping it safe, keeping it kind of to the point where there will be OMG moments, but he's going to do them when they feel right. You know, you build up to them kind of a thing. And I do get that, because the alternative is that you rush things and they don't feel as satisfying, and you do shocking things just for the sake of doing shocking things. And that wouldn't be right. Really, what you need to try and do is have lots of stories going on where you've got lots of things paying off at various different points. And you need to sort of find a way of increasing that a little bit more than I think what we've got right now. These shows are too easy to miss. They're too easy to skip. They're too easy to go, doesn't matter, I'll just catch up with it. Or I'll just read the results. Because I just don't know that they feel like essential viewing in 2025. Essential view. I can't miss that show. That's what you're battling with. You've got to make the shows can't miss, because in this day and age, it's too easy to miss them and do something else instead. It's hard. It's really, really difficult. It's so easy to sit here and say, yeah, all he's got to do is make the shows unmissable. I mean, it's so easy to say and yet so difficult to achieve. I've got nothing but respect for the creative department, the work that they do, the amount of work that goes into it, trying to create like over 5 hours of main roster content every single week, using all of those wrestlers, all of those moving parts. It is so difficult. It is really hard. I do understand. I do see that. I'm not like blind to that. So let's agree that it's challenging. Let's agree that it's difficult. Let's agree that there is a balance that needs to be found. And you can't just do shocking things every single week. But also, I think we could agree that balance is not right in 2025 and that they need to find ways of, making these shows feel more unmissable. Nick said, I would pop if the American Males theme song hits on Raw, because it's a great theme song. And Joe Mags would be a zombie or a ghost, says Nick. Akeem said, Travis Scott ruined WWE. Bad Bunny too. Not Logan. At least Logan can wrestle, says Akeem. Big Time said, NXT has been very good this year. I'm thinking it's like a 7.5. Thomas said Cody has had to finish his story. He did finish his story, yes. He did. Trini said, we went from Roman having dog food poured on his head to Bloodline. It was a real jump in quality. So the come down was always going to come as a result in a lot of complaining. Well, you are correct. This is why I do a little bit of pushback when people are like, oh, this is a disaster, this is terrible. The way that I try to word it is that we're not where we were in 2023, 2024. I don't word it that we're in a disastrous place. I don't word it that, this is rock bottom, what are we going to do, panic stations. I think it's so easy to overreact. And I do believe that those things would be an overreaction. I don't think we're anywhere near those levels. Again, 1995, 2019, these are times where I felt the product was really lost. I don't feel like it's lost. I think there's lots that's going on. I think there's lots of talent around, and I think there's lots of things that you can point to and say, yeah, that's good. That's good. I enjoy that performer. We can do that match. That'll be good when that person comes back. And, I like this person, like that person. That match was good. I think we've seen plenty of good matches this year. We've had some good moments this year. I've seen enough to know that this is not a disaster. It's just not as good as where we were. And I think that decline, that decrease is harder for some to accept than others. I think if you're someone that's watched a long time and you've seen some really bad stuff, I think it's probably quite easy for you to accept it because, well, you've probably got your measuring stick of that's rock bottom. Yeah. Things like flipping, Katie Vick or whatever. That's rock bottom. And then that's the top stuff that I'm looking for. And so you've got a much better kind of measuring stick than maybe people that have only been watching the past few years. Because if you've only been watching the past few years, this might feel very underwhelming in comparison to what you've been watching. If you got into wrestling during Bloodline, then I could understand this year being it's just not the same. There's no Bray. The Wyatt 6 story is not giving me what I was hoping for. There's no Bloodline stuff that's going on. The stuff they're doing instead is just not grabbing me. And I honestly, I think I even see that within our community. I even see that in our community. I see people in our community struggling with that exact thing I've just worded, the way I've worded it. That they got into it during the pandemic, maybe fell in love with Bray and The Fiend or something like that. Really enjoyed Roman and watching the Bloodline story evolve. Because don't forget, it started at the end of 2020. So, I mean, the Bloodline story, if you got into it when everyone was in lockdown, you know, and you just had something that you to watch on a weekly basis, you've gone on this journey where, I mean, the past 5 years have been insane. We've had Bloodline, we've had Bray lose his job, come back. Not only that, we had White Rabbit, we've had Nightbird, we've had the whole Vince stuff, selling the company, TKO taking over, Triple H taking over creative. I mean, really, everything that's gone down since the pandemic has been bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. And, you know, now I think we're in a period where Triple H, the honeymoon is over, and I think now, you know, this is where we're grinding. We're kind of like, do you know what I mean? Like really working now to keep this thing going. And I'm sure there are some big plans that he's got on the horizon. But yeah, I think this year was really meant to be about John, retirement, all of that. If that's not massively blown your mind, then I think that obviously is kind of adding to the struggle a little bit. Days, if we look back at the last 25 or so weeks in NXT, I could probably list off every talking point with Raw and SmackDown. A lot of the episodes just feel a little bit of the same, says Big Time Baxter. Curtis said, to be honest, I don't think it's been as bad as people are saying. I have genuinely enjoyed this year a lot, says Curtis. Kader said, Raw 2018 to 2019, we were deep in the trenches. That is true. That is very true. Curtis said, do we think people see this as being bad due to The Rock coming back and disrupting things? Oh, well, I definitely think that played a big part, yes. I think that was very frustrating for people because I think what you did was you dangled the carrot of a really big, juicy story. And I think actually what that showed is that people are willing to sort of just go with things. I mean, as soon as The Rock said, I want your soul, I kind of been the only one going, what? What? What are you on about? Like, it was so jarring. It was not surprising to find out that had not come from the mind of Triple H. You know, there wasn't anything else that was really around that was like that. As I said, Triple H is very sensible, steady, comfortable, builds to things, but takes his time, lengthy title runs, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you got some boomer coming out going, I want your soul. It is so jarring to everything else that was on the show that, I mean, it grabbed attention. I mean, people wanted to know, what is this story? Where is this going? Like, what's the play here? What's the plan? What's the, you know, what's going down? And then, of course, you get to Elimination Chamber and it results in the John Cena heel turn. And it's like one of the most shocking moments in the history of WWE, yeah? A lot of people have it as like their favorite heel turn, and it's like a truly shocking moment. And for me, completely, 100%, I would say it's one of the most shocking moments in the history of WWE, because I genuinely didn't think they would do it this stage in John's career. I thought that boat had sailed, but they did. And, you know, truly shocking moment. And then, you know, of course, people are then starting to, I mean, don't forget, it wasn't long ago we were talking about the whole 1, 2, 3 hand gesture. And there was all this talk about, okay, so Rock's 1, Cena's 2, who's number 3? Who's number 3 in this group? And of course, people get carried away with like trying to figure out what's the group, what's the hand gesture, you know, where's this going? You know, is it a case that Seth is going to join this group? I mean, we were talking about this as a group. I mean, this isn't a group. I mean, the only time that we saw John and Rock together was at Elimination Chamber. So, you know, this isn't a flipping group. And it turns out there was no follow-up to that story. The whole selling of the soul, what did that mean? What did The Rock get? What is John doing for The Rock? There's nothing to it. We found out from that interview that they got in touch with The Rock. Ari Emanuel got in touch with The Rock, and he basically said, we're struggling with Elimination Chamber. We need something big. We need something that's going to wake this thing up, right? And they brought The Rock in to do an angle, and he was the one, and his writer, I'm guessing, Brian, came up with the whole selling of the soul. Apparently, he wanted Cody to turn heel, and that was the original plan, was to actually have Cody agree and join up with The Rock. But even if that had happened, The Rock still would have gone away. Clearly, there was no plans for anything further or for it to go beyond that. And so, yeah, I think people kind of fantasy booked and had all these things in their minds of groups and where this was going and what this could mean. You know, I think a lot of people were like, oh my God, we could do Cena, we could do Rock, we could do Seth, and we could do that against like Team Triple H, and they could battle for control of WWE. And like all these things sound great. I'm not down on them. But I think then if you're going to turn around to people and go, oh no, sorry, there's nothing else. That was it. You know, all of a sudden people are like, what? And yeah, I think you will have frustration. You will have people being a bit like, what do you mean that was it? That doesn't even make sense. And it's like, no, we did that for Elimination Chamber. I know, but we want to do like a power struggle. We want to do Team Triple H against Team Rock. Well, we can do that, but we haven't got any plans for it yet. I mean, maybe we could do that at Survivor Series, you know? I mean, if Rock's free, and that's always the problem, isn't it? If Rock's free, maybe we could get Rock. He would be on the outside of the ring, I'm sure, as the team battle on his behalf. Triple H can't get physical, so he'd be on the outside as the team battle on his behalf. And maybe, you know, we could still work to that, but I mean, I don't even know that that's happening, honestly. There's no reports or word that that's going to happen. But that was the kind of thinking people had. So, yeah, I think that was a big frustration, the fact that it did not... the fact it did not kind of follow up with what people had fantasy booked, you know. And I think, like, people fantasy book and things don't come of it all the time. So that's fine. But when it's something as big as the John Cena heel turn, and it's as big as The Rock... Tribal Chief, final boss, all this stuff, saying flipping I want your soul. Like, you're talking about things that are grabbing a lot of people's attention there. It's not the same as trying to fantasy book Liv coming back into Judgment Day. Not everyone's doing that. Not everyone's going to care with that story. It's not that big, you know. She's going to come back. She might be a bit off with Roxanne, whatever. But I think that you really grabbed everyone's attention with the whole selling of the soul. You know, there were shows that don't even talk about wrestling, talking about John turning heel. I mean, it was on like the late night talk shows. It was on the Daily Show. It was on all these places. It was on like sports coverage. John turns into a bad guy. You know, you grabbed not only wrestling fans, but kind of non-wrestling fans by doing kind of one of the biggest things you could do, really, turning John heel. And then you just didn't really have anything to follow it up with. I mean, apparently John originally was going to turn heel at WrestleMania. So, I mean, that just completely changed the timeline as well. It changed a lot of stuff. It really did. He did get involved and he did kind of disrupt the plans and he did change the original story. And yeah, I think that would be okay if he could have followed it up, but he didn't. He didn't have any plans to follow it up. He was off doing other things. Trini said, you described me, Daze. I've been watching so long. I just know this isn't as bad as people want to portray it. Yeah, I agree. I think that it's easy to fall into that trap as well, though, because I think as a human species, we sort of live in the here and now. You know, we've all got, I suppose part of it is that we've all got life going on. Life for all of us throws challenges, you know, good and bad. And, you know, I think that wrestling is a real escape for a lot of people, myself included. You know, I mean, I'm saving up to try and get a place where I can live. And, you know, I mean, I've kind of worked in retail. I've worked with a team of people. I've been around people all the time, serving customers and, you know, having the pressure of visits from higher ups that are in the area and, you know, your regional manager stopping by and, you know, going to different conferences and whatever and, you know, living the working life. And I've done that. And I did that for like 15 years and I loved it, right? But now I'm in a situation where I spend a lot of my time on my own, talking to a microphone, staring at a camera, chatting with you guys, which I love doing. But, yeah, I mean, what goes down on the wrestling shows and the things that we talk about, like that's an escape for a lot of people. And it's an escape for me as well, as I continue to try and save money and try and, you know, be able to get a deposit together to afford, like, you know, getting my own place. And, I think a lot of us live in the here and now, and we don't really worry so much about what it was like in 2019 and what it was like back in 1995. Like, who cares? Yeah. It's more about like, can I escape into this world? Is this a world I want to journey into? And I think the sad truth is that for a lot of people in 2025, I don't know that this is a world that's really grabbing them. I don't know that this is a world that they're really interested in visiting, because there's just not much there for them. You know, there's just not much there that they care about, that they're passionate about. You know, if you love the Bloodline story, if you love Bray Wyatt, if you loved the hype around the Nightbird stuff and Wyatt 6 coming in and, you know, all that sort of stuff, you know, that would have been a reason to have jumped into this world. But with the Wyatt 6 doing stuff that's maybe not floating everyone's boat, with the Bloodline story now pretty much done, it just lives on through Solo and what he's doing, which is obviously much... I mean, they're fighting over the mid-card title right now, so to kind of say that this is the Bloodline story that involved Heyman and Roman and all of that, I mean, we're a long way removed from that. You know, this, I just don't know. I just don't think this is a world people want to jump into, or not everyone. And so as a result, you end up with a kind of an exaggeration, I suppose, of how bad it is, because, you know, people I think are disappointed, sad that it's just not hitting them the same way and blah, 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 blah. So I do understand. I suppose for me, I just know that it's been worse, same as what Trini said. And I know that this is okay. Like, there's enough here that's kind of keeping me occupied. There's enough here that I'm interested in, you know? I mean, I'm really looking forward to Evolution, for example. But, yeah, I get it. I mean, I think that it might be worth a few people, if they're feeling that way, just kind of stepping away for a bit and just having a break for a bit and seeing how they feel. Because if it's not hitting and not grabbing you, then, you know, maybe just step away and kind of refresh and then come back into it and see, you know, if what's going on grabs you then. But for a lot of people, I mean, I think there's still stuff here they really enjoy. I think there's stuff here, there's enough here for a lot of people. And, you know, it's one of those where WWE are obviously going to have to make sure their ratings are at a certain level. So, you know, if these ratings continue to drop, they're going to have to be forced to do something as well. So, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out for the rest of the year. And as I said, what they've got planned for 2026. Daze, I think it's fair to give Triple H a pass, said Asib. We've had the Netflix stuff and the Cena retirement. So 2026 should be the year, Triple H's year. If that's not a good year, then would you want him gone, said Asib. Oh, I definitely wouldn't be calling for Triple H to be gone because of whatever's gone down this year. I think that's pretty crazy. I think that Triple H, the thing with Triple H is that I know he is an old school wrestling fan. He's someone that was in WWE and in the system from, 95? And not only that, but he ran NXT, and NXT was really good under Triple H as well. I sort of feel like, you know, when your team gets a top manager and you can sort of see that it's goods and, you know, there's things happening, but you're not quite winning the league. You know, you're doing well and you're hopeful that maybe if we sign another couple of players, we'll be there or thereabouts. That's how I feel about Triple H. I sort of feel like WWE as a sports team, they're probably like, I don't know, 4th or 5th in the league. And they're not winning the championship, but they're sort of around the conversation. They, you know, might have won the title last year and the year before, but we've definitely dipped down this year. And now we're like 4th in the league. And, you know, you're probably looking at like, oh, if we could get like a new quarterback, or if we could just get that star striker, I think we could get back up there, you know. I don't think that it's a massive open heart surgery. It's not like we need to change the whole team. It's just like there's something missing at the moment. And I think what's missing at the moment is that big story, that big juicy story. I think that you're just a bloodline away, which is an easy thing to say, really. Oh, you know, the greatest story probably that WWE have ever told. We just need another one of those. But, you know, I think that next year he needs to make sure that when Cena retires, that he's got the pieces in place. Which is why this year you can sort of look at what we're doing with Seth's group and be like, yeah, it's baby steps and they're still kind of figuring stuff out. But by the time we get to January, that thing needs to be clicking a bit better. You know, if we're going to add new members, let's do it now. Let's get them sorted now. Let's get that group kind of clicking and vibing so that when we get to January, we can be telling some really good stories. Because I agree, I think this year we've leaned on Cena. And we've leaned on his retirement. Next year, we can't do that. So what do we lean on next year? What is the story that we're going to strap the rocket to next year? I think it might be Sammy trying to win the World Heavyweight title, but that's obviously not the top title. So that means that probably Cody is going to have to be involved with going after the WWE Championship or being the WWE Champion. Who could go after Cody? I mean, will we actually get The Rock? I mean, if they have got The Rock to agree to WrestleMania next year, I would imagine Triple H is probably sitting there going, it's fine. It's fine. You know, as time goes by, the Cena story is only going to get more engrossing and emotional as we get towards the end. We've got a 2-day SummerSlam. Keep everything ticking over. We'll keep building up Seth's group. This year will be whatever this year is. We're trying to blood in Lyra. We're trying to blood in Braun. You know, we're trying to, you know, make some moves with Carmelo or whatever. Like, you know, we're trying to bring through Jacob. There's people that we're trying to build. We'll keep doing that for the next 5 months, 6 months, whatever it is. And I already know that early next year, The Rock's going to be involved. We're going to do Cody versus Rock. So, you know, I know that WrestleMania's sorted. I know that the road to WrestleMania's good. So, really, it's just a case of, you know, keeping things tight, keeping things ticking. It's going to kick off next year, though. And if he knows that that's what's coming, he might actually feel quite comfortable. We're sort of sat here going, oh, it doesn't feel as good as 23, 24. And we don't know what's coming. But if you're Triple H and you've got the ability to write and do anything, you know, I'd like to think he's got some big plans up his sleeve. Definitely we need something good for Seth's group because I think they're going to need to carry some weight next year. But, yeah, be good, obviously, if we do have The Rock. But you can't always just rely on that. We need to be bringing through new stars as well. But I do think there's a couple of matches for The Rock that we've got to do. One of those is definitely against Cody, and another is definitely against Roman. I think even if we only get those 2 matches done, we do need to get those done. So I would like to see those 2 matches. I know you can't always rely on The Rock. Bringing through new stars is obviously very, very difficult to get them over and make them big names. That is a challenge. And it is something that's very hard to do. But that's the task, that's the job. That's what Vince had to try and do with Hogan and Stone Cold and Brett and Shawn and Rock and Cena and Randy, and the list goes on and on and on. You know, Vince had to try and do that back in the day. Well, now Triple H has got to try and do that. Has Triple H actually brought any big name stars through? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know that he has. I mean, you could maybe make an argument he's made Rhea Ripley bigger. You could make an argument for that, definitely. But you can't give him credit. Can you give him credit for Cody? I suppose you could. Cody came back in WrestleMania 38. So I suppose Cody, in a way. I mean, that was not a Vince thing. So CM Punk was big anyway. You can't give him that. You can't give him Roman. Maybe you could give him the credit for Cody. But he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to keep doing it. He's going to have to do it again, isn't he? We need to make sure that we've got a very bright future. Jamie said, do we think Roman against Seth at SummerSlam? Yeah, I feel like that's where we're heading, yeah. Where would CM Punk fit in? Rollins kind of cost him the belt. So does it end up with CM Punk costing Seth when he decides to cash in? Well, I think that there'll be a few people that try and stop him from winning. I wouldn't be shocked if we do CM Punk versus Gunther. That wouldn't shock me, doing that match. I think that would be a fantastic championship match. Cody was the winner of the King of the Ring. So obviously he gets the shot at John. So we already know that the King of the Ring side of that is sorted. So it means that... whoever is, I mean, and actually that makes even more sense, doesn't it? Because if you do CM Punk versus Gunther, then you could have Seth try and cash in during that match, because I'm convinced he's going to cash in for the World Heavyweight title and not the WWE Championship. So, you know, he would love to make sure that CM Punk does not get his hands on that championship. So I could see something like that for Punk, and Roman Seth because of the betrayal and the wise man and all of that. I mean, actually, we might be about to enter a period that's going to be really good, because as we head to a 2-day SummerSlam, there's plenty that we're going to need to tell stories about and dig into and flesh out, and we should get some really good segments, actually. So once we're past this weekend, we might start eating really, really good. Ben said, sometimes the Wyatts do feel a bit lost, but what if there's a 7th member pulling the strings to do his or her actions of taking control? I just don't think there's any indication of that. And to be honest with you, I mean, I don't remember anything in the journal sort of indicating that. I think there is a 7th member that's pulling the strings, that's kind of overseeing stuff, and that's Bray. They follow the words of the Red. So I don't think there is any sort of higher power. That higher power is Bray Wyatt. And I wouldn't change that, to be honest. I don't think it would make sense for Bray's creative to be controlled by someone else. So I think them following Bray's words makes sense to me. Plus also, I think this group is big enough. I really would not be looking to go any bigger. I think it's been challenging to try and get this group kind of consistently on TV. And to be honest, I think they've sort of really changed direction as well. I think there has been a pivot. I think they've really moved away from the storyline driven stuff, and they've just kind of gone more into just treating them like another team, really, another faction. Kind of not worrying so much about going after people because of their pasts or whatever, but instead just treating them more like a faction, like Judgment Day and a tag team, and just having them going after championships. And I suppose telling the story that they were people that were overlooked in the past and they will not be overlooked anymore. And so it's about them getting the opportunity that they were denied in the past. Which, you know, there is value to that. I do understand that as a story. But in regards to the Wyatt Six, I think what made them special was their characters and the fact that they were different. You know, people didn't start watching Bray because he was largely like everyone else. They watched him because he was different, he was creative, he had his whole world that he had constructed that people were engaged with and they wanted to know more about. When we were watching the Firefly Funhouse, people wanted to know, where does that door lead? And they wanted to know, are the puppeteers kind of, people that could help Bray? And people wanted to know, where is the funhouse? If it's in Bray's mind, how do people access it? How can people burn it down? We've seen people burn the funhouse down. Well, if it's in Bray's mind, how can you do that? How can you get into his mind and burn it down? And actually, some of these pieces, still I don't think have quite fitted together. I think part of this is probably, as stories unfold, someone probably said, wouldn't it be cool if we burnt the funhouse down? And actually had Randy Seth going in and burning it down. And it might be that Bray turned around and is like, well, that doesn't really make sense because it's actually in my mind. And, this is where you probably had Vince being like, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. Let's just do it because it'll look good. And I think they butted heads a lot. I'm not saying they butted heads over that, but I'm just saying that, that's an example as to where I think there could have been friction, could have been differing point of views, and eventually that results in Bray being let go. It's I think hard to work with, not because he's a diva, but because he cared so much about his creative and his creations. And that is Bray Wyatt. That's what people love. They love his creativity and they love the world he created. So for us to maybe turn our back on that a little bit now and just go after championships is a bit disappointing, to be honest. But, they did put out some messages the other week. To be honest, even that fell a bit flat, to be honest, but that's a whole separate conversation. The Battle Royal is now confirmed. Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Ava is going to add some women tonight, said Adam. She is. Big Time said, Daze, something that could be cannibalizing the Raw numbers on Netflix is WWE putting big segments on YouTube. They do 1.8 to 3 million views. Much more efficient than just fast forwarding and rewinding on Netflix, says Big Time. Well, yeah, but they've always done that, haven't they? I don't know if they're doing anything different, but I believe they've always put clips up of their big segments. So I do think there's probably a lot of people that follow the action, follow the shows just by highlights. Honestly, it's a big commitment to watch 2.5 hours on a Monday. If you don't get back home until 7 after being at work and the show starts at, I don't know what time the show starts, 8. You have something to eat, whatever. Sit down, watch the show at 8. It's done by 10:30. And then, do you know what I mean? I don't know, by the time you've had a drink or whatever, it's getting on for 11, it's getting on for 12, it's time to go to bed. Really, it's your Monday night that gets eaten up. And then SmackDown has been 3 hours on a Friday. So I feel like you've probably got the same thing on a Friday as well. So it is a seriously big commitment to be watching WWE every Monday and every Friday. And, we watch it on a Tuesday and a Wednesday as well. So, and then, of course, we've been doing shows pretty much every other week on a weekend. So, yeah, it's a really big commitment. I could understand people being like, I just cannot watch everything, I just can't watch everything. I can understand that. But I don't think that's any different really than where we've been in recent years. WWE hasn't just suddenly started doing SmackDown. It's done SmackDown since 99. It's done Raw since 93. So, I don't think there's any changes there. Niall said, I just got my UEFA C coaching license. Niall, shout out to you, buds. Shout out to you. I don't know what that is going to unlock for you, but yeah, good luck with whatever that can unlock. I don't know, if you need that to like smaller teams, or I don't know what the C coaching thing allows you to do, but well, I tell you what it does allow you to do, surely take the B coaching and the A coaching as well. So yeah, good luck with all that, buds. Right, Jamie said, I'm working Friday and Saturday and Sunday. I'll be missing this weekend's shows, but I will catch up on Monday, said Jamie. Earl said, I thought SmackDown went back to 2 hours a couple of weeks ago. I think it was just Friday, just gone. Hudsmith said, there's always excuses. Just come to realise WWE is down in ratings right now. It is a bit down at the moment, yes. I mean, it does always see a decrease after WrestleMania season. And actually, year on year, we've seen decreases as well. So the conversation, if we was to get into that, and I'm not really looking to get into it any further than we already have, but the conversation is, you know, is it an exceptional decrease? Because to be honest with you, this time next year, I would expect a decrease on where we are now. So, you know, compared to where we were last year, what's the percentage of that decrease? How does that decrease compared to 2022 to 2023? Because we know that TV shows, TV channels, all this kind of stuff, a lot of things are seeing decreases because it's all so spread out. There is just so much content. There are so many places for you to go to and things to watch that, you know, we're seeing, obviously, TV seeing a decrease, right? And we're seeing WWE decrease, and WWE have decreased for years and years and years. So there's not really a surprise there that we're seeing a decrease. But to dig into the numbers, the percentage of the decrease would be very interesting. And of course, you know, they've just moved to Netflix, so what has that done as well? I mean, WWE will be very, very aware of these numbers. They'll be very aware as to what the current situation is in regards to, you know, are they seeing a bigger decrease than they expected? Or are these numbers well away from what they expected? Jamie said, do we think Raquel and Roxanne are going to retain Evolution? Or will Charlotte and Alexa win? Yeah, I think it'll be Champs retain, to be honest. I think Champs retain. I do think there is a chance for Alexa and Charlotte, but I don't know that we're going to have Raquel and Roxanne lose the championships at the first time of defending them. They could. They absolutely could. But I don't know that you would do that now. I think it would make more sense to do it a little closer to when Alexa's returning. So I think they might just get through Evolution, and maybe in a month's time they might lose them at SummerSlam. I don't think they're going to keep these belts till the end of the year or anything like that. And I do think that Charlotte and Alexa will get a bit of a run with them. And that's why I just wonder a little bit about them getting them at SummerSlam. I haven't heard anything in regards to a return date for Alexa. So I don't know when she's like meant to be coming back. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they lose those titles so soon. You know, the kind of like really their first title defense. I don't even know that Raquel and Roxanne have had their first title defense yet. So I don't know that they would lose that so soon. So I think I'm going to stick with tag champs. Haven't actually seen any odds yet for Evolution. I'm thinking tag champs retaining might be favourites, but I would imagine Charlotte and Alexa very, very close. Right, let's go down. Do we think if AJ Styles doesn't dethrone Dominic for the IC championship, do we think Karrion could be in talks to be the next IC champion? Well, the only problem with Karrion is that he is a heel. And so I don't know quite how you would do Karrion versus Dominic. That would be heel versus heel at the moment. So it might make more sense if AJ did get that championship, and then you could do AJ versus Karrion. And there is a bit of a history there, of course. We did see Karrion talking to AJ when AJ was facing Logan at WrestleMania. So actually, I think when we do AJ Dominic, I think there is a good chance AJ gets that title. And then we could do an AJ Karrion feud. Let's bang. Go down. To be honest, William, hello. Shout out to you. Thomas is cheering on the nature boy. Shawn said, as wrestling fans, we shouldn't care about ratings. We don't run the shows or are in the industry, said Shawn. Well, I've got split feelings on that, to be honest, because I think in one regards, the ratings can get in the way because, you know, if you're watching the show and you're enjoying the show, then I agree. It shouldn't really matter what the ratings say. You know, I'm sure that we've all got favourite albums that did not perform amazingly in the charts. I'm sure there's bands that you enjoy that did not perform brilliantly in the charts, right? But you still enjoy them and you still enjoy their music, and you still, you know, probably the same with films. There's probably films that you enjoy that were not like crazy box office successes. You might even enjoy some films that lost money at the box office. Yeah. So I agree with you in that regard. If you watch the show and you enjoy the show, surely that's really all that should matter. The only thing I would say, though, is if a film does lose money at the box office, it's probably not a great sign that they're going to do a sequel. Or if an album gets released and it bombs at the box office, it's probably not a great sign that that band has got like a great future ahead of it. So I think it's one of those where I agree you should watch the show and enjoy the show as the priority. But if you want to know how the business is doing and you want to know if WWE are in any kind of danger, or if, you know, I mean, for example, if the ratings continue to decline, we could find ourselves in a situation where Triple H gets removed, because if the creative is not compelling enough, TKO have got the ability to remove Triple H as head of creative and put someone else in that position. That obviously then would drastically change the shows. And I think people want to know if we're on that path. And I think people want to know what the future of WWE is looking like. You know, is it profitable? And what are the ratings like? And, you know, what's the conversations? A lot of money these days comes from TV. So we know that, like, we've reduced the house shows because they don't make money. So really the money comes from TV. It comes from Saudi. It comes from Netflix. It comes from Peacock. It comes from USA, CW Network. That money is the big driver for WWE. That is more money than they make from ticket sales and merch and all of that stuff, right? So I think, again, the ratings are important because they want to know, are things good at the moment? Is Netflix going to pick up the extension? If not, where could we go? What channel will we end up going to? Will people be that interested? If the ratings are in the toilet, obviously indicates that there might not be as many people that bid for it. I mean, honestly, you could get to a point where we do have to see a downscale. We're downsizing because that TV money can't last forever. That do you know, I mean, like, honestly, some of the on-screen stories are not as interesting as the kind of stuff that's happening away from the screen. You know, in regards to the fact that, you know, you've got all the drama with Vince and all the stuff that happened there. You've got the drama of Rock and Triple H and their relationship and The Rock getting involved and all that sort of stuff. Some of the more interesting stuff is the stuff that kind of is not the TV show. And I think that's a whole side of the business that has kind of just added some extra level of interest to people. And, you know, that's where that WWE Unreal show is going to come in and kind of show us a bit more behind the scenes. So, yeah, it's really interesting. You know, should you just watch the show, enjoy the show and leave all the other stuff? Or, you know, is that other stuff now really increasing in value and actually becoming something that people are just as engaged with because they know this is scripted? And they know kind of how the business works. And they know what is really important. And they know that the TV money is important, which means the ratings are now important. So of course, that's where you get that all kind of conversation, don't you? So it's a hard one to just ignore, to be honest. But I do agree that from a kind of priority point of view, just enjoying the show should be the priority. Bring Russo back. Get the F out of here with that, says James. Natty to win tomorrow, said Thomas. Yeah, Natty is going to be in action tomorrow. And she is going to be taking on Kelly Armstrong. That's going to be big for Evolve. Jim said the new Jurassic Park movie was really good. Yeah, Scarlett Johansson is in that, isn't she? I saw the first Jurassic Park. I think I might have once seen the second. I did not go to the cinema for the second one. I think that was maybe them going back to the island or something. I can't quite remember the plot. I saw it once, not at the cinema. And that's it. I've not seen any of the other. I didn't see any of the Jurassic World ones. I'm sure they're fine. But I sort of feel like if you saw the OG Jurassic Park 93, was that? I can't imagine any of the films were better than that. That is just gold standard, that film. A classic. Dave said, Daze, your social life. Well, you're mine as well, Dave. You're mine as well. I like Scarlett. I just don't know what she offers the division. She's not going to be a wrestler like Asuka or go for a belt, said Aubrey. I don't know what they'll end up doing with Scarlett. Will be interesting. In terms of WEP, says Hannah, what can we expect from this summer? Well, honestly, I don't know, because Tommy has been talking about starting that new show, hasn't he? So I'd imagine for Tommy, that is going to be his big focus. So I don't know. The thing with the WEP is that we just kind of really roll with the punches. So there's not really anything that's planned. It's just sort of turn up and chat away, really, and just try and find entertainment. So I like the WEP because it's not forced. It's not structured. It's not like, we're going to do this week or that this week. I mean, it's really just a case of... like talking about wrestling as much as we can, as much as I can get Tommy to do it, and then just kind of rolling with the punches. Dean said, you mentioned this the other day, but I'm a bit confused. Okay. You mentioned Alexa doesn't seem to want to be a part of the Wyatts. Does it won't happen? Is that the reason for the new direction? No, I think the reason why I say that is because she came back at the Rumble and she's got loads of like sixes and circles and Fiend trouser kind of patterns on her gear and all this kind of stuff, right? And she made a comment the other day, like, how do I pay tribute to Wyndham without it being a tribute? I just want it to be part of my character now. So she's wearing this stuff because that's what she wears. And, you look at that stuff, and I think at first people kind of saw all that and thought, oh yeah, she's going to be joining the Wyatt Six like real soon. Like she's basically wearing the gear that she'll be wearing when she joins them. That's what it felt like. It felt like, oh, she's here. I didn't think she was in the group straight away, but it was like, oh, but it doesn't feel like it's going to take long. But I mean, we're sat here now in July. We've had plenty of opportunity to kind of tease things and do things to have her join the group. I mean, we could have been doing little kind of the logo flashing up behind her. We could have seen her staring off in the distance. There's loads of things we could have done. Even with Uncle Howdy not around, we still could have done little things to have kind of worked towards bringing her into the Wyatt Six. And we haven't done anything. And here we are 7 months in. And so, is she looking for them or are they looking for her? The answer to both of those questions is no. She's not looking for the Wyatt Six. She knows they exist. She's not after them. And the Wyatt Six know Alexa's back and they're not looking for her. They're doing something in the tag division. So when I said the other day, it doesn't feel like she's looking to join at the moment. That's what I mean. I mean, she really is just not looking for them. They're not looking for her. We haven't teased anything. We haven't set anything up. I have no indication that that's going to change over the next month or 2 months or however long, right? So it just sort of feels like they're on their own paths at the moment. Now, at any time, those paths can cross. You know, some people asking, will the Alexa Charlotte story lead to Alexa coming into the Wyatt 6? Well, it could, right? There's nothing at the moment that's going to indicate that it is going to go that way, but it could. You know, you could have Charlotte beating down Alexa and Nikki could make the save. Lights go out, come back on, Nikki's in the ring, Charlotte has to find a tag partner, blah, 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 right? So it could, but that would be out the blue, wouldn't it? There's nothing apart from what's in the journal and the URL and all that. There's nothing at the moment right now that's indicating that Alexa's going to go into the Wyatt 6 now. I think she goes in eventually because we've seen enough in Nightbirds. We've seen enough in those clues in the journal to know that Alexa is part of that group, yeah? We know that that URL, which had the first letter of every member of the Wyatt 6, the one member that's missing begins with the letter A. And then we also had it where the last letter was also featured. And we know that the last letter of the missing member ends in an S. So Alexa Bliss fits perfectly. And she's got like what is believed to be a journal entry as well. And obviously a rich history with Bray and everything that's gone on. And then she comes back. She's got all that stuff. I mean, she's going to join the group. She's going to find her way in with the Wyatt. So I really don't have any doubt about that. But it's just at the moment, it does not feel like that's the story or that's the play. But I'm sure we'll get to it. But I suppose in a way, there's not really a rush. I think like I'm totally fine with them telling some stories with Alexa. I'm totally fine with it being a case that they put Alexa with Charlotte and we explore that as a tag team and then maybe explore that as a feud. And, you know, we kind of work our way through these things. So, yeah, that's all that was. I haven't read anything or heard anything. But there's just nothing at the moment indicating that that's kind of the direction that we're on. I had to do a double take on that rock soul BS. I turned into Booker T. Tell me he didn't just say that, says James. I know, crazy, wasn't it? Crazy. It was so out of place, that whole rock soul stuff. But, I mean, it did work in grabbing people's attention. And some of that more outlandish, outrageous kind of storytelling, there's a place for it. You know, WWE has got plenty of it in its history. It's just not a Triple H thing. It's not the kind of thing Triple H books or does, which is why it was not that surprising when it turned out it wasn't a Triple H thing. I love the original Jaws, said Hud Smith. Scary AF. Only saw the shark fin the whole movie until the end. It's pure cinema. Christopher said, Daze, what's up? How are you? I'm good. Hope you're well, buds. I've been working a lot of overtime. Finally got a day off, and I'm just going to relax with NXT, hang with the community. It's really good to see you. And you, buds. And you. Hope you're doing well. And, yeah, NXT starting in about 12 minutes. Should be a good show. Go home show, of course. But NXT consistently has been, for me, the best brand this year. Really been enjoying a lot of what they've been putting out. Obviously, some great talent. Some really interesting sort of stories. I do wish the Tony Stack story was hitting a bit more than it is. I don't know quite where that's going awry. It's a difficult one. I think we haven't really fleshed out Stax's character. I think that's part of the problem. Stax has kind of broken away, but, you know, I don't see him making any big moves. I sort of feel like if you want to be the new player in town, you really should be making some big moves. You should be making some things happen. You know, I'd like to be seeing Stax causing carnage, actually, in NXT. Like, really calling some shots and interrupting people and beating up some people and throwing his weight around and, you know, being like someone of power. And actually then you could have people going to Tony sort of saying like, what are we going to do? This is your fault. You created this monster, kind of a thing. And I think we could make a bigger deal out of it. Well, at the moment, Stacks ain't really doing anything. I mean, all he's done is managed to get his hands on the Heritage Cup, but that was only because Noam Dar had to forfeit it. And, I don't really know any support that he's got with him. There's a whole, is Luca on his side or not? That's kind of the big story there. Can Luca be trusted? But was it last week that Luca actually just punched them both and walked away? So, Luca, I think, is kind of like, screw you both now. So, yeah, I there's lots of like things that are happening. Some good characters. Obviously, fresh faces coming in like Blake Monroe. And, people coming in like Jasper Troy from LFG. And, storylines have been good. Match quality's been good. It's been good. It's good. I mean, I think on a Tuesday it's perfect. You kind of get the big razzmatazz of Raw and the big show, the big star power, and then you get like this little treat the next day, which is NXT, which is just a really tight, solid, well-paced show that's really enjoyable, that kind of shows you the stars that are going to be hitting Raw and SmackDown in the future. So it's honestly, and I know for many of you, but I think it's been the best brand this year. So shout out to you, buds. Rock was just trying to be like his dad, the soul man, said Vic. James said it only took you an hour to read that one. You're getting quicker. Listen, I'm working hard. I'm getting good at this. Big Time said SmackDown got killed on July 4th. It did 1.1. Yeah, I can believe that. I mean, it was a tape show. It was the 4th of July. I mean, to be honest with you, if there was a show to miss because I was off to see Oasis, I couldn't have asked for a better show to have missed, to be honest. A tape show on the 4th of July, I mean, that was a real get out of jail card for me, really. So, yeah, one of those that we move on. We knew that they'd get killed on that, and we move on. Where are we? We've got 8 minutes. 8 minutes. People talking about Michael Myers. We've got Thomas said Triple T doesn't seem like he wants to be part of the community. He's only interested in him and his girlfriend. She's going to give him the walking papers, says Thomas. Well, to be honest with you, Triple T's never really been a part of this community. He's never hung out on the streams. I mean, Triple T is someone that was a YouTuber when I first started. He was a big YouTuber. And, I mean, he, as long as I've known him, he's always had a good number of followers. I mean, and he was doing toy hunts and figure reviews, and he was just so different. He was... originality really stands out. And when you've got like so many people in the space being like, right, new figures out, this is so good, look at the face scan, let's open it up, actually get the figure out, can you see that, look at the quality. And I love the accessory that comes with it. Here's the accessory, blah blah blah. Everyone's doing that. Not Tommy. Tommy's like chucking the box around, getting the name mixed up, like trying to get it out and struggling. And I mean, like, just really presenting things in a very different way. Going into like toy shops and just like putting on, like, creating his own background music and putting on some background music. I think he had like part of his toy hunts where it's like, it's time for like baby time or something like this. And there'd be like crying babies and stuff. Like, you're like, what am I watching? I feel like I'm tripping. At times it's like a psychedelic experience, but you're not getting that off the content creators that play it straight And I play it straight, to be honest. I play it pretty down the line. But, you know, if you watch, like, the toy hunts, I really try to put some humour into them. I really try to put some fun into them. And, you know, a part of that, I really do credit to Tommy for showing me. It's crazy, isn't it? It just showed me a different way of doing it, really. When everyone's doing it so straight. I mean, Grim always put comedy into his stuff as well. That's why I always have got respect for Grim. But the thing with Grim is that he used a lot of bad language. He used a lot of, you know, a lot of terms that I was like, not sure. Not sure that when I do my stuff, I want to do that, you know. He showed me what was possible and what was popular, but he also showed me stuff that I knew I didn't want to do. And, you know, like swearing a lot when there's kids watching never felt comfortable to me. That was something that I just didn't like. So I think with Tommy, like, and Grim and both of those, like, they were very inspirational to the early start of this channel. So to actually reach out to Tommy and be like, listen, do you want to do a podcast or something? And for him to say yes was like, oh, this is amazing. And then, you know, the podcast has not gone the way I envisaged. I thought every week we would do a topic and we would just talk about it. You know, 1 week WrestleMania, next week SummerSlam, next week debut matches, week after that female wrestlers, week after that flipping NXT, week after that Survivor Series, week after that let's talk about 92, week after that let's talk about 98. And I thought that we would just do an episode each week like that, where we're just like throwing thoughts around and all this kind of stuff and sharing fun stories and I don't know. I mean, like, we did that for like 20 odd weeks. So you can find those episodes at the very start of the web. But it became apparent that some of the more entertaining stuff was when we went off on tangents. And so we started going live and we started going more off tangent. And now it's just a flipping Wild West. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do think that's part of the charm, is kind of literally just turning the camera on and just, I don't know how this hour's going to go. I know that we've got some photos to look at if we need to move to those. I know that we've got these things we can talk about. Sometimes Tommy will send me some pictures and I'm like, okay, clearly there's a conversation there. And it's just, yeah, it's just it's the flipping Wild West. So I think there's been some incredible moments though. It's weird because some of my absolute favorite moments in being on YouTube have been on the web. Like, some of my favorite moments have happened during the web. Just stories and conversations that we've had that have just, I've been laughing so much my sides are hurting. And it's kind of hard to get to that level when you're just streaming and reacting to a wrestling show. It's kind of hard to do that, but man, the web's... I so wish I could go back, and I suppose I could, but it's just finding the time. Go back and dig into the web, find some of those moments, pull them out, and you know, put them into short little videos or whatever, because there is some serious gold that is hidden in those episodes over the past 5 years. But yeah, I love it. But, you know, Tommy's got his own life, hasn't he? And I mean, I think he'll be the first to admit he only manages to watch and catch wrestling these days quite sparingly. But if you want to join us for the Wrestling Escape Pod, it's got its own channel on YouTube, Wrestling Escape Pods, and it's new episodes every Thursday. Every Thursday they go live. Thursday night, we always do those. We'll do one this week, probably loosely based on like Evolution, but I can already guarantee, and I'm sure you already know, it ain't going to focus on Evolution all that much. We'll probably try and start the conversation, but I doubt we get that far into it. And that won't be my fault either, because I do always try to, you know, make it wrestling related. But equally, I will just go with the flow. Right, with that being said, let's get into NXT, because it should be starting in a minute. I'm not into talent shows. I know I'm not a part of yours and James's conversation, Trini. It's probably mood for me to interject, but I do like it when contestants are horrible. Boom, boom. What am I after? NXT. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome to Tuesday. Blue Whale Sonic. Shout out to you, my friends. Brony said, I'm looking forward to Evolution. Hopefully it's going to be a good show and we don't have to remember it's a show that's going to underwhelm, especially because of the incredible talent of the women. Yeah, I agree. I really hope they smash it, kill it, deliver, and it's a massive monster success. Okay, here we go then. NXT, baby. Just about to start. Duran, hello. Shout out to you. Shawn said, I hope we get some surprise entrances for the Battle Royal. That would be good. I mean, they haven't announced everyone. I've not seen a graphic, so I think there's definitely room for surprise entrances. But, yeah, haven't seen all of, like, you know, a graphic showing everyone yet. Here's Hank and Tang. They're wearing some USA dungarees. There is Joe Hendry. Hello, was that Candice LeRae? Was that Candice in the background? Maybe... Was that Stephanie? There's an Evolution Summit. I think we just had Candice and Stephanie in the background. That was Candice, said Brony. Oh. NXT, lights go out. Right, here we go. Here is Ricky Saints. Mate, I flipping love Ricky Saints. I'm so ready for him to be NXT champion. Ricky Saints over Femi. I'm ready. We're doing the Gauntlet match first. So he's going to be taking on all of Vanity Project. This is a great showcase. Right, Ricky Saints Gauntlet match. So this is a great showcase for that Evolve talent. So this is going to be Vanity Project. It's going to be... I'm trying to think who's in it. Is it Bryson Donovan? That's the one I think I struggle with the name of. Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes. We're getting Ricky Smokes against Ricky Saints. And we're also going to get Jackson Drake. So, it might only be 3 of them, actually. We might not have. Because there is the one that has the long hair that looks like he's just stepped out of the Matrix. But it doesn't seem like he's here. It looks like we've got Swipe Right, Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, and Jackson Drake. So it looks like Ricky Saints is going to have to go through those in a gauntlet match. Swipe Right in the ring with the Evolve champion. I actually think Brad Baylor, size-wise, looks a bit better than Jackson Drake. There's Ethan Page. Is the Matrix guy still there? Well, he's not with them here, no. I mean, he is with them normally on Evolve. Okay, we're going to start with Ricky against Brad Baylor. Brad Baylor is the person that, for me, feels the closest to like a Shawn Michaels. Chop coming in again there by Ricky Saints. Baylor going face first. Oh, another big shot coming in. So we've seen Swipe Right. They've been very, very impressive. They're very young as well. Baylor going against the ropes. They've got that sort of arrogance, you know. Charging in. Big boot coming in. Missile drop kick there by Ricky. Baylor up, gets caught. Backbreaker. Lovely work here by Ricky Saints. Baylor selling at the moment, going over by the ropes. Look at his wide-eyed reaction there as Ricky grabs him, tries to drag him back into the ring. Working on the arm. Nice work there by Brad Baylor. He's going to go for a... Whoa! Damn, that was good. I thought he was just going to go for a suplex, but it was a net breaker. Shots coming in again there by Brad. What time is Great American Bash? Well, I think it's 8 o'clock UK time. I think Great American Bash finishes at like 10:30-ish. Then I don't think we start Saturday night's main event until normal time, which would be like 1 in the morning. So it's going to be a long day on Saturday. Shot coming back there by Ricky. Another shot as Brad's against the ropes. Big kick coming into the midsection. Kick coming back there by Brad Baylor. Double underhooks. Lovely. 1, 2. Brad doing okay here. You can see the marks already on the chest there of Brad Baylor. He's a good talent, man. I really like him. I really like Swipe Right. So they're chanting Swipe Right on the outside, and they've already got some of the fans chanting Swipe Left. Baylor against the ropes. Tries to drive a knee, but Ricky moves out the way. Gets back up on his feet, tries to come in. Chop coming in there by Ricky, and again. Another big shot coming in. Brad Baylor over by the ropes. Going over the other side. Clothesline. Brad Baylor down, and again, another clothesline. Gets back up. Comes over. Big back body drop there as drives him down. Ricky Saints looking to try and put the young man away. Back elbow. Might be the beginning of the end. Going over into a big DDT. 1, 2, 3. Gets it. Ricky gets the pin on Brad Baylor. Now, I'm thinking Ricky Smokes is going to come in now. And he is. The other member of Swipe Right is in there. Saints versus Smokes. Good showing, I thought, there by Brad Baylor. Not a bad little contest. We'll just rate this match as a whole gauntlet rather than like individually breaking it down. Lovely work there by Smokes. We saw a banging match that these guys had. I think, was it against Fraxium? I can't remember if it was Fraxium or Hank and Tank. I think it was Fraxium. It was a really good tag match. And there we go. Ricky is down as... Ricky Saints is down as Ricky. Oh, Smokes driving in some knees. I believe we've gone commercial break, but obviously on Netflix we are staying with the action. Maybe the Matrix guy might interfere, said Hakeem. He might do. Yeah, Zeta Steele is also someone that's part of this group, but she doesn't get shown on NXT. I don't remember if they've shown the Matrix guy as being a part of this group on NXT. He is a part of it on Evolve. I think his name is Bryce Donovan. We haven't seen loads of Bryce Donovan, and he really does not fit the group. He does not fit the group at all. I mean, I'm waiting for him to turn or for them to turn on him because he just really does not fit the vibe, the aesthetic at all. But yeah, they haven't even seemingly bothered to include him in the faction as they're being shown on NXT. Gets the ropes, holding on against the ropes. Big boot there by Ricky Saints. Coming over, going up over the top to the outside. Ava tweeted about NXT being at Evolution. Stephanie replied saying that she was going to come and see the show. Oh, interesting. Kay said Daze is a really big fan of the Ring General. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, love Gunther. I think he's just had some incredible matches. Into the barricades. Hopefully his match against Goldberg this weekend is going to bang. Time for a whole bunch of commercials now, said Thomas. Well, we just had some outside interference. Here we've got Ricky trying to get back into the ring. Ricky Saints in there as Ricky Smokes comes over. We've had only 10 minutes gone so far. Again, boots right in the throat there of Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints, of course, has got to go through this gauntlet to try and get his hands on Ethan Page. Shot coming in there by Ricky Saints. Another shot coming back there by Ricky Smokes. Again, over the other side, we got Saints going chest first into the corner, a la Bret Hart. Cover 2. No joy. Daze, are we a fan of gauntlets? I think they do serve a purpose, and I'm glad we don't get them a lot. Yeah, I agree, James. I'm the same as you, but I think they serve a purpose. I mean, we all remember that gauntlet that Kofi was in, which really, set us on the way to Kofi Mania. Kofi doing so well in that gauntlet match that, it really opened people's eyes. And that was the kind of little tease for the Elimination Chamber match that he was going to be in. And, we've seen some brilliant number one contenders gauntlet matches. I don't think they're things that you should do that often. I agree. They can be overdone. I think there's only so many ways you can, book them. But it's a good showcase for people. And that whole digging deep kind of a thing, I think it's a good thing to have in the mix. As Smokes gets planted. Clothesline there by Saints. Smokes over against the ropes. Nice. Belly to belly toss. Bang. Smokes planted. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up. So Brad Baylor, I think, was just saying to Ethan, it's going to be okay. And Ethan's like, it better be okay. So right now we've got Ricky. Smokes coming over. Gets caught there by Saints. No, roll up by Smokes. 1, 2. No joy. Saints underneath. Smokes against the ropes. Inverted atomic drop. Rolled through there by Saints, and that should do it. Nice pin, actually. Rolled him up, but also sort of wrapped his legs around the legs of Ricky Smokes. Finish him. Ethan just says to Jackson Drake, the Carolina Reaper. He just said finish him. Ricky Saints is pretty banged up here. Goes over. Big shot coming in there by Jackson Drake. The Carolina Reaper. The Carolina Reaper. Sounds like a pepper. Knee to the midsection. In America, they have baseball games on and not NXT. But no one cares about baseball, said Denise. Oh, really? What, they don't have on the CW network? They're not showing any. NXT has been a big win for the CW network. I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot there if they're kind of not showing this, to be honest. Lovely work there by Jackson. He's got Ricky all kind of tied up. Crowd are chanting for Ricky. Ethan enjoying what he's seeing as we got a bow and arrow. Ricky, though, able to power out of it. Bow and arrow applied there by the Carolina Reaper. Against the ropes. Drop kick right to the legs. Kip up there. Another kick coming in. He's got him up on the shoulders. Bang! Double knees. Good work there by Jackson Drake. Really like that. Going for the cover. 2. Whoa! Really close. Really close. Ethan, watching on. James said, I saw a report earlier. It said that TNA could be days away from announcing a new TV distribution right. Well, that would be good for them, wouldn't it? Really good. Up on the shoulders, Ricky as slams Jackson Drake down. 1, 2. Oh, kick out. Kick out. Yeah, Ricky Saints getting past Brad Baylor, getting past Ricky Smokes, now having to deal with Jackson Drake. Step up Insiguri there by Ricky. Lovely flip up there by Jackson Drake. They clearly see something in this guy. He is the Evolve champion, which was quite a surprise, honestly. I think a lot of us thought they were going to go with Shawn Legacy or Keanu Carver. Drake moves out the way. Super kick coming in. Down goes Ricky Saints. To the outside. He's about to launch himself and he comes off. Knees up there by Ricky. Knees up by Ricky. Clothesline there by Ricky. Again, he's looking for... He's got him up on his shoulders. He's Oof. Brutal. 1, 2, 3. So, there we go. Ricky Saints, of course, picks up the victory. No great surprise. Not a bad match, honestly. Had to dig deep. Had to work hard. I don't think it was really ever in doubt, but... It's a good way, actually, of like really showing off some new talent, isn't it? That's 3 people that not everyone's going to be familiar with because they don't watch Evolve. That's 3 people they've just been able to showcase. It's just state by state, said Hudsmith. It depends on the team. Texas has got games on CW on Fridays. Others are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. MLB gets better ratings than NXT, said Hudsmith. I'm going to dog walk your ass all over Atlanta, says Ethan. Falls count anywhere. That's what Ethan wants. Falls counts anywhere. Dun, 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 dun. So, Great American Bash. Falls count anywhere. Okay, we've got Zaruka. Is that Laney? Laney is in the background. Laney was just talking there, but I couldn't quite catch what she was saying. Okay. Yeah, she was just sort of talking there, and she needed to like project a little bit more. It all felt a little bit rushed, didn't it? And honestly, I don't even know what she said. Jared said, "Do we think Ethan's going to lose so that he can join Seth on Raw?" I don't. I mean, like. No, to be honest, I think that it's an option, but I can't sit here and say that I think that's how it goes. I think it's an option. It's not impossible, but equally, they seem to quite like him being with this Vanity project. So, I mean, I think it's as likely that they kind of keep him around in NXT and we kind of explore him being with this Vanity project. It's probably as likely that we have a look at him having another run with the championship as well, like the NXT championship. So I don't know. I don't know that he is going to be the one that gets added to that group. I think that it's an option, but it's impossible to sit here and say, oh yeah, that's the direction it's going to go, you know? Daze, do you think WWE will give the Battle Royal a win to an NXT superstar? No, because the prize for that is they get to fight for the championship, isn't it? They get to fight for the championship over in Paris. So I don't think they're going to give that to someone from NXT. Alex said, it's sad that I won't be with you all this weekend. I can only be with you guys on Sunday this week. Well, yeah, we're here. We're here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We're here tomorrow for Evolve. I mean, there's so much going on at the moment that if you miss one stream, it's no drama. Plenty of other streams, obviously, on the way as well. So, yeah, no worries. But honestly, it's there's so much happening that life obviously gets in the way sometimes. Cops are waiting for her to leave. They will then nab her, says William. William, seems like you're having some fun tonight. Thomas said, Great American Bash was a WCW pay-per-view at one point. I don't think Ethan's going to jump up that high on the WWE roster, says Akeem. Taker said, do we think that WWE will give... Oh, we answered that one. I am happy for Kalani and Mello. Oh, why? Have they announced they're getting married or something? Kalani's busy with being engaged. Lani and Mello just got engaged. All right. Hadn't heard that news. But congrats to Mello and Kalani. The Speed Championship is actually on camera, said Alex. But Falls Count Anywhere at Great American Bash. Yeah, that's going to be fun as well. Those two have had some really good matches, so that's going to be really good. Christopher said it was a fun gauntlet match. I wonder how much thought went into the name Swipe Right. It's easily one of the worst names I've ever heard, said Wrestle Rants. Okay. Daze, what was your favourite Great American Bash going all the way back from 1985? Well, to be honest, I mean, I wasn't a WCW viewer, so my WCW knowledge is not that extensive. I'm a WWE guy. So, you know, for me, Great American Bash, there's obviously like loads of great moments that I've seen from it. And, you know, I think of like Sting, for example. And, you know, the jacket that he wore. And, like, you've got these kind of iconic images from the history of Great American Bash. But I don't really have any sort of, like, nostalgic fondness to the past because I wasn't watching WCW back in the day. So it's not a brand that really holds much memories or anything for me, to be honest. So it's not one that resonates much with me. But if anyone in the community was an avid WCW viewer, then feel free to let us know what your kind of favourite memories were. Perhaps there'll be some deep cuts that people can sort of share. Wrestler Andy said, do we think Oba is going to go straight to the main event on the main roster? I can't picture him being a mid-carder. He's like Brock. I don't know, to be honest, but because, I mean, they are positioning him as a monster, but then you've got Jasper Troy, who's arguably a little bit bigger. And I don't know that he's as big as what I thought he was. I don't know. I think if Jacob is going to be used in the mid-cards, you might use Oba in a mid-card as well. Here's Blake. She is giving Jordan Grace a call. We're meant to be training. So Jordan wants to know where Blake Monroe is. But she's going to have a glamour workout. The glamour noughts. The glamour noughts. Okay, well, Jordan just got out the car and she was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So she was not impressed with whatever she's just seen. Okay, here is No Court Catch Crew. We have got Ren Sinclair coming down with Charlie Dempsey, Tavion Heights, and obviously they are about to have a match. If Tavion can win, he can leave. No Court Catch Crew. That's going to make Ren's Day tomorrow quite interesting if he does leave, you know. Dempsey making his way into the ring. Tavion in there as well. I don't know why Tavion's wearing that mask. I don't think it looks okay, but it doesn't really go with anything else he's wearing. It does sort of make him look a little bit like the lost member of Retribution. It just doesn't really work with his singlet. Right, Charlie Dempsey versus Tavion Heights. But I wanted them to run NXT and now they're splitting them up, said Alex. There's a lot of people going to be disappointed with that, isn't there? Hasib said, what's more important, someone being a great wrestler or someone having a captivating gimmick? I feel like there's great up-and-coming wrestlers, but they don't have no gimmicks. Yeah, I think the gimmick is more important. The presentation is more important. I think that hopefully with wrestling, they can learn wrestling and improve with wrestling. You know, that's obviously a skill that you can like develop, but actually having a gimmick and a presentation that people care about. You know, the thing with wrestling is that you really want to have a good guy that people care about and a bad guy that people hate. And, you know, that's what's going to get people to come into the building and buy a ticket. You know, a babyface people love and a bad guy people hate. And a lot of that is through promos and through, you know, presentation. You know, look at Jay's yeeting and his entrance and all of that. Look at the Warrior running his way down, shaking the ropes. You know, that plays a massive, massive part. There's a reason why WWE spends so much time investing in that kind of presentation. So, yeah, don't get me wrong, wrestling's crazy important. You know, that's why, you know, people tune in because they want to see really compelling action. But, you know, you can have like a really good match between two people and it's only going to draw so much attention. Like, you need to have that connection with the audience. You need to be able to communicate to people and get them to, you know, watch your match in the first place, which means you're going to need to be a good promo. You know, you need to grab interest. So, yeah, for me, I think, like, they're both massively important. But I feel like you have to get the one thing right to then lead to the other thing. Shots coming in there by Tavion. Tavion throwing Charlie against the ropes. Charlie Dempsey goes down. Tavion in the ring. Jumping on the outside, going around on the outside. Big shot coming in. Charlie Dempsey down. Tavion down. As we throw over to commercial break. They said that Tavion had suffered an eye injury in training, said John. He's worn that the last couple of weeks, says Hoods. I hope Fightful is wrong. Blake Monroe just got there. I don't see fans booing her yet, says Shawn. Shots coming in by these guys that are fighting away on the outsides. Daze, I think it's possible that Blake might turn on Grace this weekend. Fightful reported yesterday that there has been discussions of turning her heel soon. Nice shoulder charge to the midsection. Going over the top. Trying to get Tavion down. Well, that's interesting. Thomas says we're at commercial. Oh, big slam. Going for the cover. To shoulder up, but it was a little bit nonchalant, wasn't it? Shoulder up, but it was very nonchalant. Going for the cover to, and again, just, it's not like a dramatic kick out. He just sort of worms his way out, doesn't he, Charlie Dempsey? Again, looking for a suplex. I think I've never seen much of her as a heel or a face. I'm interested, says Brony. I'm glad they took off that foolish mask, says Thomas, as Tavion goes to the outside. Tavion is down. Charlie Dempsey is down. Charlie trying to get back in the ring. Right now, we got Ren Sinclair out there. Tavion trying to get back into the ring as well. Stomp coming in there by Charlie. We had half an hour of the show so far. Right now, we got Charlie going for the cover. 1, 2. Kick out there by Tavion. Justine said, best Firefly Funhouse moments. Is it the playground puppets? Oh, I wasn't a fan of the playground. Funhouse match. I wasn't crazy about that either, to be honest. What Funhouse moment did you like? Well, it's a good video, that, to be honest, because everyone's got their own thoughts on it. Everyone's got their own favourite things, haven't they? So, I think for me, like, just seeing the Funhouse, the very first time seeing the Funhouse was quite special because it didn't actually air in the UK. A lot of people might not know that. But they cut away from it. I think they thought it was a commercial in the UK. So we never saw it. So people were like, oh my God, Bray's back and look at what he's doing. And we were like, what? We couldn't even see it. So it was very frustrating and had to watch it after. And obviously there was all these people talking about it and hyping up about it. And then when you actually got to see it, it's like, this is crazy, mate. So I think the very first one is really special. And obviously when they first show off The Fiend as well. But there was some really great Funhouse moments. Nice. That was lovely there by Tavion. Tavion grabbing Charlie, bouncing Charlie off the ropes and slamming him down. Ren doesn't know what to do on the outside. She looks very lost and confused. Nice takeover there by Tavion. Charlie going against the ropes, belly to belly. Big throw there by Tavion. Tavion in the middle of the ring as Charlie goes over against the ropes. Charlie coming in, throws in a kick. Tavion grabs the leg, both Tavion and Charlie spill to the outsides. So right now we've got Ren on the outsides. Having a word there with Charlie Dempsey as Tavion comes over. Shot coming in there by Tavion. Charlie goes down. Tavion again coming over, grabbing Charlie. Trying to get back in. Oh, that was moody, mate. The way those ring steps moved. Oh, no, Charlie. Wow, stomping on the leg. Charlie doing whatever Charlie has got to do. Wow. This is his friend. This is his colleague. This is his teammate. And he was just stomping away on Tavion's leg there. Oh, mate, that's brutal. That is brutal. Like, he's really pulling on the leg. Single leg crab. I really like this because it really does feel like Tavion is in a lot of pain. It really does feel like he's absolutely butchered that leg. Tavion being dragged back to the middle. Stump coming down there by Charlie. Ren just looking really lost on the outside. Right now we've got Tavion down. I don't think Ren's impressed with what Charlie Dempsey's been doing here. And it is going to be very interesting if Tavion goes. You know, is Ren going to want to stay with Charlie Dempsey after what she's witnessed? Knee to the back there. Maybe Tavion doesn't get the win. What I like about this is this feels a little bit like what it was probably like in Stu Hart's dungeon. Ren has got the towel. Wrestle with Andy. A towel's belt. Oh my God. Wrestle with Andy is going to love this finish. He is going to love this. It's Helen Hart all over again. The towel thrown in. When do you get to see a match finish because a towel has been thrown in? I think I would have liked Ren to have looked a lot more emotional there, like really more conflicted, looking at it longer. But there we go, a towel thrown in. Lexus on the outside. Let's go. Ricky in the Gauntlet match. We got Hank and Tank. We've got Javon backstage. Oh, hello. Is that Jasper? Jasper attacking Javon. Colliding into Javon again. Javon getting absolutely murked here. Right, Mike Santana making his way out now. We're moving on to a tag match. Okay. Okay, there's Mike Santana coming through the crowds. It's a little bit Jey Uso, but it works. It works. It works really well. Mike Santana then making his way down through the crowd. He's going to be teaming with Joe Hendry to take on Ryze. I don't mind his entrance music as well. It's pretty good. Okay, here's Joe. Nathan said, I've got some of Casey's pizza and breadsticks for this awesome, epic Tuesday night NXT. Well, we're 40 minutes in and it's absolutely flown by so quickly. Puff Dutch, hello, shout out to you. What was Lexus doing, said Dudley? I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to do in the background. Here's Joe. Joe Hendry has made his way down. Who can be the saviour of TNA? Hud Smith said, if Santana doesn't walk out of Slammiversary as the champion, I'm going to be so peeved. WrestleRant said, when is NXT going to sign Mike Santana? I don't know when he's available to be signed. I mean, I've heard rumours that they really like him and they really want to sign him and they are very interested. But I don't know how long his contract is with TNA. Okay, here's High Ryze then. That kid screaming, Hendry's theme song, said K-Dub. Dempsey is losing everyone. Is he going to get called up, said A. Jobson. Well, I don't feel like he's ready. I don't feel like his promos are very good at all. I mean, he is the son of William Regal. Maybe that opens some doors. But I personally don't feel like he's ready. But listen, they would know better than me. High Ryze have made their way down. Tyson and Tyriek. I mean, they look really good. Wesley, of course, part of that group. This should be a win for Hendry and Santana, but hopefully it'll be a good match. It's a good showcase for Tyson and Tyriek. Tyriek, I believe, starting us off. Locking up with Joe Hendry, and we are underway, as we said, already 40 minutes into this show. Jennifer, hello. At least the NXT crowd doesn't take as long as the Raw crowd to get, though. Hope you are to get through. Jennifer, hope you're doing well. NXT, that is true. It does mean that Mike can get to the ring a lot quicker than Jay can. Here's Mike Santana. He's in there. He gets grabbed by Tyson, driven into the corner. And Santana very much in the wrong part of town. Tyriek is charging in. Big boot there by Santana. Santana moving out the way. Drop kick. Down goes Tyriek. Lovely kip up. Lovely kip up. Hendry scoops up Tyson. Looking for a fall away slam and gets it. Kip up there by Hendry. Turns around. Looks over at Santana. As we go to commercial break. I don't know if we're going back to the action. We might be. Sometimes we go to a graphic. Sometimes go back to the action. We're going back to the action. I'm guessing you lot have gone to commercial. Right. How come no matter how much I work out, I never get abs and rip look? But I can pick up a railroad car axle and press it over my head, says William. William, that's very impressive. You're a very impressive young man. Akeem said NXT could handle 3 hours, no problem. Santana is great, said Jeremy. Who Reviews said, I'm glad to see Unseen is back. Yep, it's back. We'll be doing another one tonight. Right now we have got working on the arm, going over, making a tag. Against the ropes goes Tyriek. Back elbow there by Joe Hendry. Going for the cover, but shoulder up. again, looking for a pickup. No joy. Joe trying to get Tyriek up. Does get him up. Oh, Wes trying to get in the ring, but actually just knocks into the referee. Hendry is distracted, and of course, that gives the advantage back to Ryze. So Tyson and Tyriek working together. Hannah said, would you like to see any of the following make their way to NXT? Ortiz, Julia Hart, De La Renta, or Will Ospreay? Well, it'd be nice to see Will Ospreay, of course. Julia Hart, I don't know. I mean, I don't watch, do I? So, I mean, I was not impressed with what I saw when I was watching, but that was a long time ago, and I'm sure she's improved. So, Julia Hart would be a no from me. Ortiz, I don't even know where he is now. I don't know what he's doing. Does anyone know where Ortiz is or what he's up to? It's such a shame that he and Santana had that falling out. But, yeah, I mean, look, from what I saw, he was a really good wrestler, very versatile. I think he would work as a solo star or as a tag guy. So you could put him in a faction, you could put him in a tag team. I wouldn't hate Ortiz coming in, but I don't know where he is now. De La Renta is... Well, De La Renta's interesting because she was a manager, but also I think she did do the occasional match as well in MLW. So, I don't know. I think the window for signing her might have not closed, but I don't hear much about her these days. I heard a lot about her about 4 or 5 years ago. And WWE didn't make any moves. Maybe she was under some sort of big contract. But, I don't know. I don't hear any buzz around her anymore, to be honest. So I don't know what she's doing in MLW these days. To my knowledge, she's not in AEW or anything, so... If they signed her, I wouldn't be against it. I don't think WWE are necessarily looking for managers, though. So they'd probably have to sign her for her in-ring ability, and I don't think she's in-ring-wise up there with, you know, your Julias and your Stephanies, so... She's kind of in a bit of an awkward spot, really. Right, we are back to the action. I'm pretty sure Ospreay wouldn't go to NXT. He'd go straight to the main roster. Some kind of title picture, said Wrestle Rants. Do we think NXT will be in Paris as well as the main roster? Not aware of that, no. I mean, Clash in Paris is... just its own show, isn't it? I mean, we've seen Clash at the Castle a couple of times. I don't think that's included NXT talent or anything before. I think it's just like a main roster show, so I'm not really expecting NXT to go over there and do a show. We never saw that when we did... Oh, Maxine and Natalia have arrived. No, I'm not expecting there to be any NXT stuff around Clash in Paris. Okay, Natalia arriving is interesting. Yeah, right now we've got Joe Hendry down. Tyriek has got this hold applied. It's like a guillotine that's in, but Hendry powering his way up. Suplex to Tyriek. Hendry trying to get over and make this tag. He's trying to get over and make the tag. Tyriek, though, is trying to make the tag. Tyson is in. Santana is in. Clothesline, big boot. Santana coming over, another clothesline. Tyson goes down. Another shot coming in there by Santana. Santana coming over the other sides. Lovely work. Into like a rolling cutter. Oh. Planting Tyriek down. Santana going against the ropes. Over the top. Oh, my God. Comes crashing down on Tyson. Just got enough of it. Just got enough. There's a dude in the crowd with a old SmackDown referee shirt on. 1, 2. Tyriek makes the save. Hendry gets in as well. Hendry comes after Tyriek, throws in some shots. Forearm shot coming in there by Tyriek. Charges over. Hendry pulls that top rope down. Hendry looking to go over the top to the outside. Lands on top of Tyriek. Duck underneath. Ooh, yeah, nice reversal there. Tyson over in the corner. It's very fast-paced action. Santana keeping the crowd engaged. Going to the outside. Wesley jumping up, though. Wesley trying to distract. Oh, here we go. Trick Williams. There we go. Trick Willie is here. Gets involved. Oh, lovely discus clothesline there by Santana, who gets the win. Santana gets the win. But Trick Williams is in as well. He lays out Santana. Oh, mate, big super kick there by Wesley. So this thing has descended into a big brawl. It's 4-on-2 at the moment. Bang. Trick shot. Joe Hendry down. It's took 4 of them. Joe Hendry down. Mike Santana down. Crowd are chanting, whoop that trick. I never know whose side this flipping crowd is on, you know. Okay, last Tuesday. Jasper Troy against Inamura. Winner was going to get that opportunity to face Obafemi. So we got the match poll up now for that tag match that we just saw. So far, Ricky Saints Gauntlet match was good 97. Dempsey against Tavion, good 96. What did you think about Joe Hendry, Mike Santana against Ryze? Ah, the great Muta said you can do it. Wow. Give us dreams. Maru Fuji, Noah Superstar, says bring that belt back to Noah. Sasaki says bring it back to Noah as well. Io Sky, I believe Inamura can do it. Kato Koiyima. That's great. That's great. You can do it. There is Inamura. Let's go. Great American Bash. It feels like a forgettable show this weekend, says A. Jobson. Great Muta. That is cool, said Johnny. He will do it, said Porky Pig. Do you think so? De La Renta is in a booker role now in MLW, says James. Thank you, James. They are really giving Inamura a serious video package. If they have him take the belt from Oba, I don't know about that, said WrestleRants. I don't think he'll win the belt personally. I don't think he gets it, but it will be interesting to see. Okay, we are at commercial break. We are at commercial. Are we going to get any surprises at Great American Bash? I'm not sure what surprises there can be, to be honest. I'm not aware of any rumors of like new signings or anything like that. I suppose some people are wondering if we might get the Righteous coming in. I don't know if there's been any word as to where they're going. There's certainly no word that they've signed with NXT, but I believe they are available if they wanted to kind of pull that trigger. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what could you bring in? Hikuleo was someone we were waiting for, but he's gone to the main roster. Mariah May was rumoured. She's come in. Not aware of any other people that are kind of rumoured to be connected with NXT. I mean, I suppose you could get a Mr. Iguana or something like that. Is there anyone that's injured at the moment? Is there anyone in NXT that could make like a big dramatic return? I'm not even aware of that. You might be able to get someone from TNA, you know. I suppose there's some people that could always pop up from TNA, but don't know. Yeah, I mean, I must admit it feels a little bit like a paint by numbers show, really. It doesn't feel like this monster show that's going to be... I think in-ring might be fun, but I think, you know, they're going to want this weekend to really be Evolution. I think Saturday they're going to want people talking about Goldberg retiring, and then Sunday they're going to want people talking about Evolution. I think they're going to try and make Great American Bash as exciting as possible. In-ring wise, I'm sure it'll be fun. There might be the odd little turn or title change or whatever. But in regards to like people coming in, I'm not aware of kind of any rumors or anything like that. Hudsmith said, can never tell in NXT because they could call up lots of shock title changes. The only world in which Inamura wins is if it's an Oba Femi main roster call up, said Rebecca. Ben said Ortiz is still in AEW, but he would rather stay home and get paid, and that has led to a falling out with him and Mike Santana. Interesting. That happened to Mr. Iguana. What happened to Mr. Iguana after all that stuff, said Rebecca. Well, he's still I think he's still popular, but I think the world just sort of moved on, didn't they? But I don't know, if he pops up again, I'm sure he'll get a great reaction. Okay, Dark State making their feelings felt over on TNA. TNA, we're going to see y'all real soon. All right, Dark State said they want to take a real close look at that tag title match tonight. This group really have struggled, haven't they? Ain't nobody safe. It's kind of hard to make that argument when you're, I don't know, just sort of lost. They feel very lost. Here is Inamura making his way down to the ring. Big opportunity for him this weekend, of course. Cutler James just kills the vibe, said Steve. They need to do something else with him. I do agree. He does feel very out of place. I do agree. Okay, Inamura. In the ring. We're going to bring Oba Femi down as well. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so Oba making his way down to the ring. This, of course, our championship match this weekend, which is a little bit strange, but Could be fun. There's lots of goodwill and support for Inamura. Dun, dun, dun. Right, Inamura will be in AEW soon, said Akeem. Well, I think he goes back to Noah. I don't know if WWE would be interested in signing him permanently. To my knowledge, is a Noah superstar. Perhaps AEW might be interested in picking him up. Could be a really fun match, this, though. You wanted to see if I had grit? We don't talk, actually, about the fact he's got decent English. You will be my greatest challenge. But I am ready. Everyone supports me, and I must make them proud. At Great American Bash, I will fight with honor, says Inamura. I really think Briggs is a problem here. I could be completely wrong, but I think he could turn on Inamura. You're not worthy enough to take this title from me, says Oba. Look at the size of Briggs. This is where it's a real surprise to me, because Oba feels like this monster, but then you put him up against Briggs, and Briggs is bigger. People are booing Briggs. At the Bash, he's going to beat your ass. He's a man of honor, but I'm not, says Briggs. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure he leaves as champion. That's kind of interesting because it implies that this is not your fight, Josh. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that he's going to leave as champion. Shot coming in there. Now we've got Oba and we've got Briggs getting at it. This thing has broken down. Briggs needs to dump that small double A leather vest, said Hudsmith. Inamura picking up, slamming. Oberfemi. Wow. Picked him up, scooped him up, slammed him down. Let them fight is the chant. Let them fight is the chant. My muscle muffin. So we've got Blake and Jordan. Glamour. This is a little bit like when it was Ariana Grace and Gigi Dolan. Okay, Jordan is just not interested. Okay. Thing is, though, I don't disbelieve that Jordan would not be enjoying this. I think she'd be loving this. Inamura is talking about honor. Briggs talking about doing anything. Surely this leads to a split, says John. Okay, I don't really get this. Yeah. I suppose it's just a bonding session or something. I think part of the problem with that segment is that when you take someone like Gigi Dolan and you kind of put her in, like, you know, pamper her up, I mean, that feels a little bit like taking her out of her comfort zone. Whereas that does not really I mean, even Jordan turned around and went, isn't this how I sort of always look? And it's like, yeah, it is actually. I don't really feel like you're going through any sort of hardship there whatsoever. That you do not seem out of place in that world to me. You might not want to do it right now because you'd rather be working out, but I don't know, it was a little weird. But I suppose in a way it's just a bonding session between Blake and Jordan, but I was really split on it, honestly, because part of me is like, it's character development and we're digging into their personalities and that's really good. But then the other side of me is like, I don't really buy that this is any sort of problem for Jordan Grace. I don't really get that this is... I just feel like I'm watching two women at a spa. One of them wishes they were working out instead, and the other one is quite happy. So, yeah, I don't know. It was fine. Do we think that this weekend for WWE is a bit too much, said Mr. Dell Jr. Great American Bash on Saturday night's main event and Evolution 2 on Sunday. Can't forget AEW All in Texas. Is it too much? Well, I think AEW is irrelevant, isn't it? Because WWE just need to worry about themselves. But it is clear that they have stacked this weekend to go up against AEW. So AEW is definitely a factor this weekend for WWE. They're counter-programming. But, no, I mean, like, AEW is not a factor for me. I mean, I'm just looking at the 3 WWE shows. And we do that for, like, WrestleMania, where we do Stand and Deliver WrestleMania Night 1, and then the next day we do WrestleMania Night 2. I don't think that we need to create that sort of a weekend on a regular basis. I mean, I don't think having Stand and Deliver before WrestleMania Night 1 is ideal. I actually think it's a negative. You know, I think that rather than going into WrestleMania Day 1 fresh and excited, we watch a show that's got, like, all the NXT superstars wrestling and whatever, and then we have to, you know, go into WrestleMania Day 1. I wouldn't do that out of choice. So I really don't feel like we need Great American Bash. I mean, like, I think Saturday night's main event is obviously fine. It's a TV special and you have to do 4 a year. I don't mind them doing Evolution on the Sunday. I suppose the show that I've got the big problem with would be Great American Bash. I sort of feel like it's a bit hidden. It's going to struggle for headlines. It's not really serving a purpose. I don't really feel like wrestling fans need more wrestling on Saturday. Even if you're only watching WWE, you've still got Saturday night's main event. You know, you're still covered. Like, you really don't need another show. It's just counter-programming, isn't it? I think it's just that they want to make sure that they've got people's attention earlier in the day so that they can advertise Saturday night's main event and make sure people are watching that rather than tuning into AEW. So that's what the purpose of it is, really. Otherwise, I think it would have made more sense to have done Great American Bash weekend just gone. Why didn't they just do that this weekend? There was nothing on this weekend. Could have done it on the Sunday, maybe. I know it was 4th of July on the Friday, and perhaps the Saturday would be, you know, a bit too close if people have had a few drinks, whatever. Perhaps that rules out the Sunday as well. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, they're doing shows on flipping Boxing Day. Do you know what I mean? They're out there doing shows straight after Christmas, so I don't know. I would have thought Sunday just gone would have made more sense than trying to shoehorn it in before Saturday night's main event, but AEW and Great American Bash start at the same time, said Robbie. Do they? That early? I thought it was going up against Saturday night's main event. Mariah May is talking manly on purpose. It's kind of odds, but I would still listen to her, said WrestleRants. Right, we are back to the action. We've just been at commercial break. We've got 49 minutes left to go. Kalani made her way down. She's in the ring. And we are now moving on to our next match. This is Kalani versus Lainey Reed. So Kalani versus Lainey Reed. Let's end this poll. That was the poll for the Hendry Santana high-rise match. 56-37-5. It's another good match, this. Good 95, that one. So, in-ring, a little bit lower than we would have liked. I'm not sure I've got high hopes for Kalani Lainey. Bang, bang, bang. They're just talking about Blake Monroe's in-ring debut. I thought All In was against main event. Goldberg versus Moxley graphic I've seen everywhere, says William. NXT and AEW start at 3 p.m. Well, that's really early for AEW. I mean, there's no doubt that Saturday night's main event is counter-programming. I mean, I think if you want to give NXT talent a better chance of grabbing the headlines and a better chance of, like, you know, standing out, don't do it on the same day as Saturday night's main event and also the same day as AEW. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like it is there as a way to counter-program AEW. Whether that's going to work or not, I really would seriously doubt. Lovely spinebuster there by Lainey. I don't think there's going to be much on Great American Bash that's going to be like, oh my god, I can't miss that. Oh, Zelina has arrived. I tell you what, this women's summit's going to be a big deal. We've got Maxine, Candice, Stephanie, Zelina. This women's summit section is going to be quite a big deal. This is where Ava is going to announce who is going to be in the Battle Royal representing NXT. Right now, we've got Kalani trying to get over to the ropes. Lainey goes headfirst into that turnbuckle. She's down. As Kalani is over the other side. Do we plan on doing Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor on Friday? No. No, I only do one stream on a day. So SmackDown is SmackDown. And then straight after that, it's going to be opinions, videos, unseen, blah, 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 blah. Down goes Laney. And again, drop kick there by Kalani. Kalani trying to get roll through, back on her feet, trying to go over against the ropes. And she does. Cartwheel, back elbow. Austin, hello. Hope you're doing well. I still think the Derby is the guy to dethrone Mox, said Austin. It's in Texas, so times will be a little bit different, says James. Brony said no one cares about AEW. I think some people do. I think some in our community do. Right now we've got Kalani on that middle rope. Top rope enziguri there by Laney. Laney is climbing up. She's trying to grab a hold of Kalani, looking for a superplex. Shots coming in by Kalani. Elbows to the back of the head there by Laney. And again, Kalani with a chop. Down goes Laney. Kalani on that middle rope. Whoa! Yeah, she did well there and got the win. So she jumped up, spinned, went into a split leg moonsault. And, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was still impressive. She jumps up. Yeah. From a standing position to jump and go into it. Kalani Jordan picking up the victory, getting the win. And in the background, we've got, is that Thea? Thea going after Laney Reed right now. Headbutts. Thea going after Laney. They're battling their way to the back right now. Kalani in the ring. Could someone attack Kalani? No. Okay, there is the young OG. Oh my God, he's getting attacked again. Young OG getting beaten down again. Kalani versus Laney, let's get. Young OG down as we go to commercial break. Lovely. I was able to unhide a couple of accounts today. Oh, was you? That's interesting. I wonder if you have the ability to unhide people that I don't have the ability to unhide. That's crazy, isn't it? That you might be able to do things on the channel that even I can't do. K-Dub said Jasper is going after the skinniest dude on the roster. Why does WWE live to murk Javon? WTH said Wrestle Rants. Brony said, I think they're trying to give her an edge. It's not necessarily a heel turn. Let's go NXT, says Thomas. We have a women's summit backstage. Well, I don't think it's going to be backstage, is it? Have they said it's going to be backstage? Oh, surely they bring all this talent out in front of the fans. We know that Candice is there and Stephanie is there and Zelina is there. So I'm thinking that's probably our main event, is it? Where we bring all that talent out. I don't really know why they're there, to be honest. If we're just going to announce, like, the NXT participants, did we need to bring all these women to NXT? I suppose it just makes it a bigger segment, to be honest. Right, we are at commercial break, and we've got 40 minutes to go. Dean, shout out to you, buds. Sunny is having a pepperoni pizza. Lovely. Lovely. I just had like a stupid cottage pie tonight, which is okay, but it's not as exciting as a pizza or burgers or hot dogs or, you know, tacos or nachos or spaghetti bolognese or, I don't know. Cottage pie is all right, though. It's like mincemeat and bit of gravy with some like mashed like potato on top, and it's all right. I'm definitely hungry now, though. James said, I'm having pizza tonight for the Lionesses game. Oh, yeah, big that. Who is it that they've got next? I know they're in the same group as Netherlands and Wales, but I don't know what the next game is. And we already lost to France because we're rubbish at literally every sport. There's not a single sport we're any good at these days. Rare Breed said, I had chicken tamales. I don't know what that is. What's a chicken tamal? I don't even know what that is. Daniel said, it's Netherlands tonight. Ooh. Gotta win. It's a must win. The game's at 5. Well, I should be up for that. What have I got? I've got a member stream at 10. And I've got, yeah, your videos as well for the members. Don't forget to, I still haven't looked. I don't know how many videos we've had sent, but looking forward to that. That'll be hopefully something a bit different. So we've got the your videos thing for the members. And then we have Evolve. Oh, no. Here's Tony. No pizza for me, though, I don't think. Here's Luca. Here's Stacks. What's going on? Oh, hello. Oh, the Riz! The Riz is here? She's alive? Mate, it's been so long. What the flip? Did you think I'd be in hiding forever? Final sit down. Stacks, Tony, Luca. Are we going to bring them back together? You destroyed it all. Are we going to really bring them back together after all this? There's no saving this, says Riz. What? Stacks? I like that from Riz. I talked to Ava. All right. Triple threat. All right. Final battle. Stacks, Tony, Luca, triple threat, final battle. Stack said he grew bigger than the family. I hate you. I hate you. But what's the future for the Ryze going to be? Tony says he's done. He gets up. Don't let me catch you by yourself, says Stacks. Well, do you know what? It was captivating. I liked it. Lovely seeing the Ryze again. Very confusing, though, where it felt like they were bringing them back together, and then Ryze was like, no, there's no saving this. And so then a triple threat is announced, so you never quite knew where you were going. But yeah, it doesn't look like the family are going to get back together and saved. It did feel that way, that was going that way, though. Here's Javon. Javon's trying to get to the ring. Family is over, said Nathan. Ben said, sometimes I refrain from greasy foods. I keep having that every day because early heart attacks in life. Having it every day, early heart attack, that is true. Javon over the top. Crashing down on Jasper Troy. We've got people trying to separate them. There was a bit of music that just played there. Oh, it's back again. It played, it stopped, now it's back again. Okay, God, now we're going to another backstage thing. Here's the Culling. Hey, Tatum. I feel right at home, says Tatum. She's got a doll that's got blonde hair. Is that meant to be Izzy? This is heading towards Culling against Hank and Tank. Obviously, Dark State said they're going to keep an eye on this match. All my new best friends will have gold championships to match the colour of their hearts, says Tatum. Okay. And we cut from that backstage bit to the entranceway, and there they all are. It's kind of cool, that, actually. It's kind of cool to see them backstage doing a little pre-recorded thing, and then it cuts immediately to them in the entranceway. It's a little bit like we're here kind of a thing, you know. New Underground Bloodline Rules match. 34% off the Bloodline edition of 2K25. There we go. Right, Hasib said, you know certain countries are specialists, like Brazil in football. Don't play anything else. India in cricket, they don't play anything else. England's the only nation that play everything, but they're no good at any, said Hasib. This is true. This is true. We play a bit of rugby, we play a bit of cricket, we play a bit of football, we have a go at the Olympics, like we're in boxing, we're in UFC, we're in at Formula One. Yeah, I mean, there's probably sports we don't play, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if we've got an NFL, well, like, you know, an American football team. I don't even know if we probably do have an ice hockey team. I've never seen them. I've never seen England ice hockey team. But I'm sure there is one. But yeah, I've never seen an England baseball team. But it is true, we do try our hands at lots of different things with varying degrees of failure. I'm sure there'll be more failure later on when the women take on Netherlands in football. Right. Akeem said, well, if this is all coming to WWE, then 2026 is looking great. Tatum doesn't fit that group. She's all smiley and giddy. It seems odd, said WrestleRants. I think it's meant to seem odd, to be honest, because I think they are teasing the betrayal. I am expecting the betrayal. I am expecting them to turn on Tatum for it to be a heartbreaking beatdown. I think what you do right now is you have Tatum like saying, this feels like home. You're all my best friends. Like, this is so great. You've got hearts of gold. I can't wait for you all to win championships. And, you know, eventually they'll turn on her, kick her out of that group. They will show that they just used her in some way. And, you know, I think that's going to, you know, break her heart. And it ain't going to break my heart, but, you know, I like Tatum. I think the thing with Tatum is that she's very good character actress in the sense of she's a bit like Alexa. She's a bit like Wendy Chu. She's very good at portraying that sort of dark side of things. And she's very good at getting into like a character and telling a story. She's very good at that. And I think with this, you know, she is very smiley, very, oh my God, I'm at peace. And of course, you know, I don't expect that to last. So I think they're leaning into that at the moment. I don't expect Tatum to be in this group in 12 months' time. Maybe not even in 6 months' time. Maybe not even in 3 months' time. But, yeah. I'd like her to find, you know, I don't know what she does. I mean, maybe if they turn on her, Izzy turns on her. Perhaps Tatum will find the courage to just sort of branch out on her own. I think that could be really interesting. Tatum was obviously with Shotzi and Gigi, heartbroken when they left. She's playing with dolls and whatever, which, you know, from an optics point of view, fine. Clearly, she doesn't have friends. She has to sort of, you know, play with dolls and imagine they're her friends. I can sort of psychologically understand something there, but I think it would be good. I think she'd be really dangerous if she stopped being broken and started to, you know, find enjoyment not in, you know, playing with dolls, whatever, but in hurting people. Like, there could be something there then. You know, at what point does she get betrayed and hurt so much that she actually starts to, do you know what I mean, stop being upset about it, but start, I don't know, embracing the pain. I mean, that really takes you into, like, Wyatt Six Bray Wyatt type territory. And I think this is why she resonates with certain people. Like, there's people in our community that really enjoy Tatum, because, you know, she's one of the only people that's providing that sort of darker side of things. But I agree, she doesn't really feel like she fits in the Culling, but I don't think that's a long-term thing. Right, here we go. I don't know if we're a bit pushed for time. We might be, but not much in the way of intros. It's Hank and Tank against the Culling, and this is for the Tag Team Championships. So there we go. We've got Shawn Spears going over in the corner. Tatum is out there with Izzy Dame at ringside. Tag titles are on the line. You lot seem to be quite positive about Kalani Laney. You said it was good 94. Right now, we've got nice takeover there by Spears. We haven't seen Hank and Tank in a little while, so it's nice to see them again. What are the chances of Tony getting help from Nunzio and Big Vito and Chuck Palumbo and Johnny the Bull, said Not JPEG. Well, we've seen Nunzio when we went to the ECW arena, so I don't know that we would do that. I mean, it could happen in the future, but I don't expect that to be, like, you know, for this triple threat. I think this triple threat is going to be a great opportunity to map out the future. I mean, who wins it? I don't feel like Tony needs to win it. But do you go with stacks and keep building stacks? Or do you go with the shock win and go with Luca? Or, you know, has Luca been working with stacks all this time and that's the reveal, you know? What actually if Tony is battling away and the Ryze gets involved and it turns out the Ryze is actually working with stacks? I feel like there's lots of opportunity for twists and turns, and I don't think it needs to include like Nunzio and all of those guys. I think there's still a lot in this story that could be explored. Nice head. Oh my God, Niko with a vicious headbutt. Deshaun said, Daze, the betting odds have got Gunther winning, Jordan winning, Rhea winning, Stephanie winning the Battle Royal, Sammy and Lyra winning the Rumble. All right, that's quite off in the future, isn't it? So Gunther winning this weekend. Oh, there's Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile backstage. We are heading towards that summit. I'm guessing this is our main event match. 24 minutes to go. Kick coming in there by Niko. Great news. There's now 40% off 2K25, so you get to play with the Wyatt, says Ben. Yeah, but that is 40% off Bloodline Edition, which is probably the most expensive edition. And to be honest with you, that is not the big problem when I don't even own a PS5. So that's where problems really come in. If it was just buying the game, that's one thing, but I don't even have the console. So I don't think it's happening, to be honest. Boom. I don't really have much interest in the game. I do have an interest in seeing that unseen footage and whatever the story is that they've come up with. I am interested in that bit, but I'm not really interested in the rest of it, to be honest. Right, we've got Hank on the outside, but Tatum's like, stay away from my friend. Niko collides into, oh my God, Booker's down. Booker's down. Booker T just got knocked over. He's going to be livid about that. Booker T has been knocked over before, and he's not thrilled whenever it happens. I hope we stay with the action here. Yeah, are you all right over there? So we are at commercial break, but we're staying with it. Look, Booker's still down. He's getting back up to his feet. For some reason, the camera's not cutting over. I'm more interested in Booker than I am in Hank. I'm good, says Booker. You hit Booker is the chant. Booker's laughing about it on commentary. You hit Booker. Yeah, crowd are chanting, you hit Booker. Booker's like, I'm all right. So there we go. He's up. He's survived. Okay, right now we got a stretch applied. Booker got crushed, said Akimi did. It was one of those where the chair was properly over and Booker was like properly down. You hit Booker. You hit Booker. Okay, right, the action continuing. Niko having a word with the referee. And this match continuing. There's a roll-up. Distraction, 1, 2. It was Hank trying to get the pin there. Booker T goes down, said A. Jobson. You hit Booker, Chant said Blue Whale Sonic. Yeah, very good. Take a 1990 said, have we noticed nearly every champ in WWE has been booked very poorly? Hardly any title defenses. Well, I think they're probably just trying to save those more for like premium live events. Obviously, Gunther defending this weekend. Dominic can't really at the moment, can he? Because apparently out injured. Clothesline. Solo winning the championship not long ago from Jacob. Tag titles changed hands the other week. Street Profits defended against Wyatt. I don't think it's too bad. Shots coming in there by Niko. And again there by Tank on the outsides. Trying to make a tag there. Tank on the outside. Hank in the ring. I think are we still at commercial break? We might be. Yeah, we're back in 40 odd seconds. Something happened in Creative's brains after someone wins a title, said Hud Smith. The chase is always where the money is. So actually building someone up a babyface to try and chase after a championship is always like, you know, where you get like the most engagement. Actually, if a babyface actually gets a championship, then it's pretty flat, honestly. We saw that when Ultimate Warrior became champ, like all the way back in 1990. And there's plenty of examples over the years where we've had people chasing championships. They finally get them and it's just a bit flat. But yeah, I mean, Cody, obviously the big example recently. Jay, an example recently as well. It is true. They do struggle when certainly more baby faces get championships. Like they do struggle to kind of book those. I think it's been a problem kind of throughout the history of wrestling, really. Certainly throughout the 90s and to the present day. I suppose back in the 80s and whatever, and going back before that, you had a bit more doubt as to whether wrestling was real or not, you know, and so wrestling could lean on that a bit more. Can't lean on that now. I think everyone knows the truth. Kayfabe is dead. Whoa, boom! Tank going through the ropes. Tank getting back in the ring. Redbreed said, I need to go outside and look for a second. It looks odd, like it's very yellow outside, said Redbreeds. Oh. Here we go. Oh, is that a flying headbutt? I still don't know why that's allowed. I'm always surprised when they allow Chad Gable doing that. I don't know why they allow flying headbutts. That looked like a flying headbutt there by Niko. Crowd are chanting, this is awesome. Kayfabe dead. Wrestling not real, but Santa's okay still, said Rob. Oh, Santa's fine, mate. Santa's fine. Don't you worry about Santa. Oh, there's Tatum, look. Distracting. Oh, big boot there by Izzy. Spears. Oh, plants him. 1, 2. No, kick out. Oh, look at Tatum reacting on the outside. Tatum really thought that her distraction was going to help her friends get those tag titles. NXT chants. Oh, from behind. Here is Sol Ruka and Zarya. They're stealing Tatum again. Oh my God, just let her live her life. Stop trying to steal this girl. Let her live her life. If she wants to get with this moody group, just let her do it. It's a little bit like a friend gets in with some relationship and you don't you don't really like the person. You know, a bit like Tommy and his kind of partner. Sometimes you have to just let them make their own mistakes. Oh, boom. Sean Spears takes the bullet. Niko Vance, though, to the outside. Hank and Tank about to put away Shawn Spears. And the champs retain. Champs retain. There we go. Oh my God, look at the bloods. Wow, I never saw that. Look at the bloods all coming down the side of Tank's face. Yeah, man, that cut's moody. They've kind of cut to a wide angle. I don't know why Sol Ruka and Zarya felt the need to flipping steal Tatum, but yeah, I wonder how he got that cut. Moody, mate, moody. Are they going to show it? Yeah, look at the blood, like all down the side of Shawn Spears as well. I think that cut's really nasty. No, they're not showing it. Gods. Cowards. Cowards! I wanted to see how deep it was. I wanted to get my finger in there. Match score. I might put that on a shirt. I wanted to put my finger in there. Wrestling Daze. It's my new catchphrase. Okay, they're just running down the Great American Bash cards. There's going to be a contract signing for Slammiversary. God, how crazy is that? We're going to actually see a contract signing for Slammiversary at Great American Bash. Jasper Troy is going to be taking on Javon Evans at Great American Bash as well. As well as that, we have got Fatal Influence taking on Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace. Inamura against Obafemi. The Great American Bash. Ava is going to announce the NXT competitors, says Craig. She is. There she is. There she is. The Rock's baby girl. It is crazy to think that is The Rock's daughter, isn't it? Falls count everywhere, says Thomas. WWE hits Petco Park for War Games. War Games. God, are we going to get like a massive brawl? I mean, I'd imagine we will, with Natalia and Maxine and Zelina and Stephanie and, you know, whoever the women are that are going to be announced. Who haven't we seen? Jada, Lola. We haven't seen those girls. I don't know that Sol Ruka Zari will be added, and they could bring them back out, I suppose. But I don't think Laney will be added. I don't think Thea will be added. Kalani maybe, but we've already seen Kalani. I think Jada Lola stands a good chance. Petco Park is an MLB stadium. That is going to be awesome, said K-Dub. Ava coming out to make that announcement, said Thomas. Ava is going to book herself to win that battle royal. That'd be great if she was in it. She did wrestle. I've seen her wrestle a couple of times. I heard that apparently she had a couple of injuries or something, that like her bad knees or something that stopped her from wrestling. I don't know how true that is, but it's been a long time since we've seen Ava involved in a match. They should chant, "You've still got it" to Ava. You've still got it. You've still got it. One more match. One more match. One more match. She only had about 5. Have you implied that you're going to stream Slammiversary, said Ben. No. I haven't thought about it. I mean, I do think that main event is interesting, though, of Santana against Hendry against Trick Williams. The reason why I don't touch TNA is because I sort of feel like if you're going to do it, then do it. It's a little bit like with Evolve. We don't do, like, the odd episode here or there. We don't do the odd episode of NXT. I sort of feel like people need to know, without me even saying anything, when we're live. You know you can find us a couple of hours before Raw, a couple of hours before SmackDown, a couple of hours before NXT, at least an hour, probably a couple of hours before Evolve. And we do that consistently. With TNA, just not looking to bring that into the schedule. So, with like doing one-off shows and things like that, it's a bit like, I don't know, man. Don't know. Slammiversary is a big show, though. So, certainly not ruling it out, but if we did it, I still wouldn't be interested in doing, like, regular TNA ones. We might get there eventually, I don't know, but certainly no plans for it. Red Breed said the clouds are weird. Everything is yellow, said Rare Breeds. Trini said, here's a question for the chat. Who do we think has had the most successful run from NXT to the main roster? Oh, I like that. I like community chat questions. Okay, here is... Oh? Okay. Don't make me go out there. I'm freaking out, says Kale. Who's he meant to face? I can't even remember who he was meant to face. Right, here we go. We got Ava in the ring then. Let's go. Let's go. How long we got? We only got 8 minutes. Jesus. Yeah. Let's go. Oh my God, she was in high school? Oh my God. I think I was in high school back then as well. So Ava just talking about how iconic that first Evolution show was. Okay, she said she's really proud that NXT is going to be all over Evolution. Mm-hmm. 6 women from NXT are going to be in the Battle Royal. Okay, here we go. Jada Parker. Lola Vice. Oh, Kalani's in there. Lash Legend. Izzy Dame. Oh, Tatum's in there. Wow. Oh, no. Izzy's in there as well. Well, they could work together, couldn't they? Well, there we go. 6 NXT talents in that Battle Royal at Evolution. Okay, and we know there's plenty of main roster stars sniffing around. Here's Fatal Influence, though. Okay. So there we go. We've had the announcement as to who's it. I thought she was going to bring them out. She didn't. She just read them out. Izzy and Tatum. I'm really surprised at that. So Fatal Influence have made their way down, getting in the ring. Okay, they're being interrupted by Jordan Grace. Let's all act surprised that Jace is running her mouth again. We got 5 minutes. There's plenty of women that we've got to bring out here. It's going to be a mad brawl. Fallon is one fine piece of work, says Brony. Zelina might blow this building up if she comes out. Here's Lash. I love this, says Lash. She loves this. I'm here for the chaos, said Jeremy. I think we're going to get chaos. I hope we're going to get chaos. Here's Lash Legend trying to get in the ring then. She's tall anyway, but she's wearing flipping heels. Here's Stephanie. Welcome back. Big cheer for Stephanie. It's amazing to be back, says it hasn't been that long. Great reaction, though, for Stephanie. Corey asked Buck if he was okay. I respect you beat me, says Stephanie. Okay, so Stephanie says she's going to win that Battle Royal, but here's Natalya. She's coming out with Maxine. So here's Natalya and Maxine. We are really running out of time. We saw Candice. She's got to come out. We saw Ivy. She's got to come out. I'm sure this is going to result in a brawl. Natalya's microphone doesn't seem that loud. Oh, hello, there's a big commotion. Oh, that's because we've got Zelina and Ivy, and we've just brought... Oh, and Julia! Julia's come out there as well. God, I think we've run out of time, and they've just brought a load of the women out now. Jada, Julia, Zelina, Ivy, Lola, all around the ringside area. I'm sure Candice must be there somewhere as well. Yeah, there she is. Candice jumps through the crowds. How do you just... Big brawl, massive brawl breaks out. So we've got the likes of Julia and Stephanie. The way they brought Julia out was so strange. Obviously, the crowd wanted to react to Julia being there, but there wasn't really the time. Jada was talking. Look at all this. It's absolute chaos. We got Tatum and Izzy watching on. Ivy Nile is out there as well. Candice LeRae is in there. Jada Parker, as we can see. We got Natalia. We got Maxine. Just a big brawl. Which probably not a massive surprise, of course. As we are heading towards Evolution. Let them fight is the chant. That's what the crowd are saying. Let them fight. The podium has gone over. We got referees trying to restore order. Good luck with that. And the table is set for a very exciting weekend. Evolution on the way. There we go. I mean, it was fine. It was good. It was... Yeah. Izzy Tatum on the ramp just watching. I think the finish was a bit rushed. I really think they needed more time. I think it's a real shame to bring out people like Zelina and Candice. You know, I mean, Candice had a good time in NXT. She might not be seen as like this big star on the main roster, but, you know, her coming back to NXT, it'd be nice to have given her an opportunity to have said something, you know? To bring in Julia out just in the crowd and not even really giving her much of an entrance is a choice, isn't it? I think it's time. I really think it was time. I just think they were a little bit pushed. Carmen said, I'm giving NXT tonight an 8. Austin said, Candice deserves more. Yeah, I feel a bit bad for her, but, you know, big beatdown, big final way to close out the show. It was a shame for Candice. I mean, she kind of came through the crowd. I don't even know if they really acknowledged that she was there. I might go down to Hobart, Indiana, says Carmen. Do it. Do it, bud. Do it. This did need some more time, like another 5-7 minutes. But a good look at the future, said Wrestle Rants. Tatum just likes to watch, says K-Dub. Wrestling Russ, shout out to you, my friend. Wrestling Russ said, an early good night to all. Daze, thanks for the best community in wrestling. I'm going to try and get a video over tomorrow. Peace and love. Oh, awesome. That'll be interesting. Yes, members, tomorrow is the day. Get your videos in. Say hello to the community. Talk about your favourite wrestlers, favourite matches. Show off some of your collections. Talk about non-wrestling things if you want to. It's a great opportunity to have a couple of minutes, have a bit of screen time, and to I'm looking forward to it, and to speak directly to the members. So, Wrestling Russ, do that, my friend. Get a video in, send it over. I'm looking forward to that stream tomorrow. And of course, once that's done, the members stream, we will go here. We'll be here for Evolve, and we'll be doing the Evolve stream. Sunny said, we've also got a Discord for community members. Yes, and that's free to join. So there's no, like, you've got to be a member or anything like that. That is open. You can chat away over in the Discord. Hannah said, it seems like all 3 WWE events over the weekend are stacked. It should be like a marathon of streams. What surprises do we think that we're going to get? Says Hannah. Well, Hannah, what surprises do you want us to have? I'm going to throw it back to you, because I was actually asked this question earlier, so I feel like we've already spoke about it for Great American Bash. In regards to Saturday night's main event, I've got a few thoughts. Again, things we've spoke about, but I don't know. What are you hoping to see? WrestleRant said, just a bit odd having Julia lurking. I agree. I would love to have heard all the women state their claim. Wrestling Russ said, what time is that stream? The member stream tomorrow starts at the same time for all the streams for the members, which is 10 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. We start the exact same time Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It just seems to work better for people. And so, yeah, I think it kind of hits a sweet spot for both America and the US. Thomas gives it an 8 for NXT. Cameron says, have a good night. Same to you, but Blue Well Sonic said, ladies and gentlemen, the show is over. So bye for now. Yeah, I'm just getting a few final thoughts. Then, of course, we'll run away, do opinions, and we will do Unseen. I need to go and work on that as well. Nathan said, thanks for the stream the past couple of days. My uncle passed away. This was a distraction. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that, but I know that quite a few in the community obviously go through difficult times, and I know the streams can be a distraction. So, yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. Thoughts with you, buds. Hannah said, I think the only surprise would be adding another stream and doing ARW Pro. Well, that really would be a surprise, Hannah. That really would be a surprise. That'd be a surprise to me as well. I do think that there's a chance that we get Roman. I think there's a chance. I think that him coming in this close to SummerSlam makes sense. It's not that far away. And I think if we're going to do that at Saturday night's main event, I think they would keep other surprises down to a minimum. And then I think in regards to Evolution, I think Legends, just bringing in Legends. I don't know that I don't expect AJ Lee or anything like that. But I think it would be, I think that's kind of something people will secretly be hoping for. Maybe Paige, she's free, I believe. She's available, She was the first NXT Women's Champion. So, her place in WWE history is pretty assured. They did a whole film about her life and everything. So, I don't know, maybe you might get a bit of Paige on Sunday. Maybe a bit of Roman on Saturday. Could be a good weekend. Even if the match card isn't like mind-blowing, I think there is potential for a few surprises. James said we need a surprise or two. We do. I think Saturday night's main event is, it's going to struggle against All In. Great American Bash is going to struggle against All In, so we probably do need some talking points and OMG moments coming out of this weekend. And I think there's plenty of opportunity to get some as well. So, AJ Simon said, should you also watch AEW? No. I've tried watching shows at the same time and I hate it. I have no interest in watching two shows at the same time. So, I have picked my side and I am quite happy with it. So, if you are watching AEW, enjoy it. But not my bag. Not of interest to me. There's the odd match like that would be of interest, and certainly I could watch Kenny Omega against Okada. I would happily watch that, but I've got no interest in watching that at the same time as trying to watch WWE. So maybe if AEW was just on its own this weekend, maybe I would tune in. So I suppose in that regard, WWE, it's worked. By, keeping people away from AEW. So, because maybe I would be tempted and maybe others would be tempted if it was just AEW doing a show unopposed. So, that's why they do it, innit? That's why they do it. Anna said, you make a good point. AEW is not something to be concerned about. WWE have got some good lineups to focus on. Women's Evolution and Goldberg's last time. It is true. It is true. Right, awesome. Thanks a lot for joining us. Really appreciate it, as always. Obviously, this is a bit of a go-home show, so it was still fine, though. We got a little bit of something at the end. But, yeah, I'm going to run away, start working on opinion videos and unseens, and obviously we'll be back again tomorrow with Evolve, and also another member stream for members. So thanks for watching, and